This One Up podcast is brought to you by Windows Media Center. Your Xbox 360, your music, your photos, your TV shows, and your videos with one connection.
All right, gather your favorite beverages, put your feet up. It's time for the weekend. This is the One Up Yours podcast for Friday, June the 28th. I'm Garnet Lee. That's John Davison across from me. Shane is here with us. And today's special fourth chair. Go ahead and introduce yourself. It's Mr.
Brian Intihar from EGM.
And also, you might know him from the Sports Anomaly. That podcast is blowing up.
Apparently so. I've heard good things about it.
Dude, that podcast is good.
Thank you very much.
ESPN are going to start carrying it, apparently.
I hope so. We have some loyal fans. It's been pretty well so far. And wow. Todd Zuniga, one of our sports guys, is doing a really good job organizing it. So it's been fun.
So we brought Brian in because we're like now less than 2 weeks away from the new 3.
The funeral for E3.
you like that? 420 on Friday. The Gamecock.
I'll be attending the funeral for E3. That's true.
Oh, you're not leaving that evening?
No.
We're out of there that evening, so...
I'll be representing. So.
I think it'll be the first year I'll be happy to go.
Really?
Yeah,
you're not usually happy to get out of there?
No, I actually usually want to stay till Friday night, kind of meet some friends and catch up, and then go the Saturday morning, but I want to get the hell out of there this year.
All right, so we brought Brian in because as the previews guru over at EGM, he's been right on the tip of all of the build-up to E3, and we're going to do not just 1 week, but 2 weeks, where the second segment previewing E3, and you guys kind of figured out how we're breaking it up. Don't spoil the surprise, but second segment today, we'll get into the first half of our E3 preview show. First segment, we need to get right into it because there have been so many games that we've been playing this week in the office. It's just silly. So what you've been playing is going to be huge. News in the third block with all kinds of announcements and a little follow-up on a couple of stories, and then a little fun stuff at the end. Anyway, so let's get right to it. Been playing games. John, I know you're like itching. So take the lead, man.
I have a bunch of stuff. So I have stuff that people will be excited to hear. But I have a list.
You don't normally have.
I don't normally have a list.
I'm usually the only one with a list.
I'm guessing I'll be jumping in with you on your list some too.
So the first thing I want to talk about is we just gave it back. We had Stranglehold. She just came to pick it up.
I know I'm definitely jumping in on this one.
Yeah. So it was like 1 level, I think, that we had. 2 levels, 3 levels.
3 levels.
Really? Well, I guess it transitions. Yeah. There's not like a definite level structure. It kind of flows.
We didn't see the third level
really well, but it looks really, really nice. I mean, it's Max Payne with Chow Yun Fat, but in a good way.
In a really good
way. The gunplay seems really good. I mean, the only thing at this point is that they still need to tweak the camera. The graphics look great, and the way that you can target
destructible environments are amazing. I mean,
apparently, according to the rep from Midway that was here, that's actually been in since very early on when they were demoing it. But for some reason, it really registered when we saw it this time.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw it at the last time Midway had a Gamers Day a few months ago, that's what impressed me the most is when you walked past objects, you actually like interacted with them, and like if you were running over a table, like the things would fall
things
off
on the table fall off the table.
You can shoot things. I love it when you can shoot bottles and stuff in the background.
And it has variations on the Max Payne bullet timey thing. There's like two that we were playing around with. There's one where you do a jump and then time slows down. So a lot of the interaction with the environment you're doing, and it gets on with it on its own. You don't have to balance along something or jump over something. You just tell him, and he'll kind of like slide up a pole or whatever.
Like
it's very context sensitive, and so all you really have to concentrate on is pointing the reticule at where the bad guys are coming and just let rip. And then he has I have no idea what any of the terms
Tequila
are.
Time.
Tequila Time.
That's what it's called.
Which is
Hello Bullet Time.
Well, his name is something Tequila, right?
Inspector Tequila.
Inspector
Tequila Time is the bullet time thing.
Yeah, but there's two versions of it because there's the aiming things in slow motion. Actually, there's 3 versions of it.
You can heal yourself.
Yeah, there's the jumping and everything goes sort of ready pink, and that's traditional Max Payne bullet time.
Yeah, that's like the right bumper.
And then there's the like the following the bullet to the target thing, which is very cinematic, where like you charge up the meter enough and you aim at someone and you pull it and it goes through and you get like a slow-mo animation of the guy dying.
You can hit the guy in the balls or the...
Yeah, and then there's the thing where you sort of load up the pump-action shotgun and you slow that down, barrage mode, where he just annihilates everything around him. When you first get that, You're in this sort of shanty town, and it's all sort of made out of rickety old boxes, and there's just things hanging everywhere, and these guys are piling towards you. And you do that mode for the first time, and the buildings around you are just collapsing, and the scenery's falling apart, and this couch gets shredded, and there's like feathers
Not just
and
the couch.
shit everywhere.
Everything you hit has like those feathery-looking particles of dust and debris flying through the sky.
Yeah.
Or there's also the time where you do like the Mexican standoffs where they basically have the gun, like 5 guys in a room, and you're kind of all like gun to gun, barrel to barrel, and you basically have to like dodge the bullets coming at you and also shooting them. And it's not like a quick time event where you're pressing A, B, X, Y, and all the time. You actually have to physically dodge the bullets, which was kind of fun. It treats you more of like a hardcore gamer than most.
Matt had a
do.
blast doing that. I watched
I
him
thought
do
that
one
was
of
really
those.
cool.
A lot of people walk by and see it going and be really surprised that it looked good. But like this team, the last game they made, Psyops, was a good game. Very well received. This has a good legacy behind it, so people shouldn't be surprised.
And it's if there had been another Max Payne, this is exactly what I would expect it to be like.
Oh yeah, for sure. I like especially how the star system works to build up your power meter so that you can actually pull those specials off. The more cinematic kills that you make, the more cinematic moves that you make, that like each one of them gets rated with like 1 to 5, or is it 4?
I got 19. I shot something up atop of a wall, and it caused like an effect where everything just started collapsing, and like 4 guys died.
There's a lot of that. Like there was one of the
Yeah.
levels where there's the environment. There's a lot of things like rocks and boulders.
Lots of set pieces
propped up.
Yeah.
that you can mess
Like
with.
you clip one thing, and if you get it just right, the boulders will fall down the hill, and they'll kill all the guys,
Well,
and then the guys will knock into other things.
If you played the level that's in the Natural History Museum, there's like giant dinosaur skeletons that you can like knock over and kill people with, and it's all very, very fun. And
This is a game where I will absolutely be buying the PS3 version and the special edition.
Because it's the first game to ship with a Blu-ray movie on the disc. It has Hard Boiled, which is the best value-added feature I've seen, because that's like a $25-$30 value.
Blu-ray version of Hard Boiled and the special edition of the game. That's definitely worth
The
it.
360 version is pathetic. The special edition is like nothing. It's like
What is it?
making of.
It doesn't even have the DVD version of the movie, which is very disappointing.
You get a faceplate if you order it through EB, but if you have both, I say just because of the Blu-ray thing, and we should support that, because I know other games are thinking about doing it, and it's a really great way.
There's ways of like tapping into like the culture, and I mean, I like this as well because it isn't the game of Hard Boiled. It's a game in the spirit of Hard Boiled. I mean, it's not even the same character that Chow Yun-fat
and a
plays,
lot of
is it?
younger players haven't seen Hard Boiled. It's an older film now, and it's a really great movie.
92.
That's so weak
Yeah.
that it's divided like that. Is that just because it's only available in high definition on Blu-ray? Is it one of those? Is it from a studio that doesn't do HD?
Well, how exactly are you going to put an HD DVD on an Xbox 360
Well, no, they
game?
could put the DVD version in the 360 version. It's interesting.
Oh,
that
what
they
you're
chose
saying
not
is
to
it's
do
not a
that.
separate disc.
No, it's on the disc.
Oh, that's a cool use of the extra storage space. I mean, it does kind of say that there's plenty of storage space
There was
for
plenty
games.
left over.
Yeah, there's plenty left over, but I'm cool with that. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Well, the game has to fit on a DVD now, doesn't it, for Xbox 360? Of course, there's lots of room left over.
There we go.
There
we go. How far did it take to
Does
say
Jar
that?
Jar Cup
let's
have
see.
Kool-Aid in it?
How long?
No,
did
but
that
as
take?
you can notice the scars on his knuckles from where they've been dragging along the ground.
But actually, I think this is a good thing. And I know other movie license games, I've been saying, hey, can you put anything on this disc? Like, when I saw Hellboy, I'm like, can you put some movies on this disc or something, please?
Maybe that's a better idea than playing the game on that one.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
So when's Stranglehold out? It's like
September.
September?
I heard late August, early September.
Yeah.
All I know is it was a blast. I had big smile fun playing that.
Yeah, it's just fun.
It was just fun.
To shoot the
Oh, I mean,
shit
there's
out of everything.
nothing like complex or convoluted about it. It's just like shooting a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the Max Payne thing was more than just the look and feel of it. It was the pacing of it. It was the pacing of it really nailed that Max Payne thing. And you just grabbing look, there's another gun. Grab that one and play with that one for a little bit. Yeah. So
should I do all the exciting stuff at once and then go into the stuff I've been playing, or should I pace it?
you bounce it however you
I'll
want to,
bounce
man.
it. So next on my list was I played Ratatouille on the Wii.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think?
Is it better than the
we
movie?
gave it like a 5 point something.
That's not so good.
No, I would give it around. Yeah, I would give it maybe a 6. I played it with my kid who liked watching it, and he like helped out with some of the Wii version has these cooking mini games that aren't in the other versions.
How does it compare to Cooking Marmar?
It's not as good, but it's in the spirit of that. There's like mini games where you have to drop things in a pot and you shake stuff up, and I also played the DS version as well.
Okay.
Which is a lot of cooking games.
Well, why not? I mean, the Wii and DS bringing back cooking games.
Yeah, cooking is a hot new genre.
It is.
There's
lots of slicing and cutting. And
is the main game a platformer on both, or no?
You know what? I don't think I played the main game on the DS, but yeah, the The Wii version is it's a 3D. It's by the guys that did Heavy Iron.
Yeah.
So it's their formula. I mean,
They made the Incredibles game as well.
They do all the Pixar.
It's a very competent running around collecting things. It's not very inspired, but
have you seen the next gen versions?
I do have a copy of the 360 version kicking around, which I haven't tried yet.
Yeah, I've heard they're a little underwhelming as next gen games.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, picking up the pace again. Geometry Wars Galaxies.
Oh,
is that the Wii or the DS?
We saw the Wii version, and then we took advantage of the fact that the Wii version of Galaxies will spit the DS version of Retro Evolved to your DS.
Ooh, damn thing died on the bus on the way home on me. I was sitting there playing it.
So yeah, the game sharing thing works just like the game sharing would DS to DS, but you can spit it from the Wii version. But Galaxies looks pretty awesome. The stuff that they're doing with there's now like a little Outrider ship that you can buy functionality for. Everything in the game that you shoot drops this thing called a Geon, which is like a coin, and those coins you use to buy things. So if you think Retro Evolved is one of the individual levels in Galaxies, so when you go into the game, it's like there's a bunch of solar systems, and every planet has these different objectives on it, and it's all essentially the same, but it does a lot more with things like the gravity wells.
Dude, that one they called the washing machine was
there was one. So there's a level, and they're not all square grids like Retro Evolved. This one was sort of like a diamond shape, and it had
like a stretched polygon.
Yeah, it had a permanent gravity well in the middle that you can't do anything to. So it's churning clockwise and spitting stuff out. No, sorry, it changed
directions. Yeah, it went one direction and then the other.
It churns one way, and it's sucking everything into it. And then it switches direction at random intervals and starts spitting stuff out. And one of the things it can spit out is other gravity wells, which can have gravity going in a different direction. So the level has a permanent gravity effect, which is altering. And then there are little sort of microclimates of gravity kicking around as well. There's a few new enemies that they showed, but the cool thing was this extra thing you could do on your ship, because you can buy upgrades for it where it can either defend you, where it works like something in R-Type, or you can program it that it will actually go and hunt down all the coins for you. So you can concentrate on shooting stuff, and this thing will zip out and it'll go and gather everything up for you.
Can you do that multiplayer?
They didn't talk about multiplayer.
No, we didn't really talk. I don't know if they did or we missed it, but
I mean,
didn't
the
see
exact same look and feel, more imagination to the levels. Like the Wii controls, I think are going to take some serious getting used to.
Okay, it wasn't just me, because didn't it look like he was playing it differently than I've seen most people play Geometry Wars? In that he was like really sticking in the middle of the screen, but because like the way it works is that the Wiimote lets you aim anywhere around your circle, so it's like really independent, like the right hand stick, and then with your maneuvering with the left stick. But it seemed like he wasn't.
But you're sort of pointing with the Wii stick, with the Wiimote. So you're not. It's not like you're twisting it like you're twisting the gun. You're sort of pointing on the screen. And one of the power-ups you get is like a laser sight, so you can actually see where he's facing.
Let me bring the DS version in for a minute, because I want to lead to a question about it. The DS version has sort of the same thing where you're moving with the D-pad, and then on the bottom screen, touchscreen, you have a picture of your ship, and you use the pointer around the stylus around it to point which direction you want to fire from. I found playing it that while it was a little awkward moving with the D-pad, I was actually shooting more often.
Well, yeah, I think the DS
like weird
version
directions.
is actually a lot. I found the DS version closer to the dual stick layout.
Right.
Whereas the Waiver, I didn't try. We weren't able to play it. It wasn't a hands-on demo, but just from watching it, it did look a little clumsy.
But I saw him pull some really sick moves because he was staying in one spot, and it seems like he was moving around, like firing at off angles more often than I do when I'm playing sticks. I don't know why, but for some reason when I'm flying around with sticks, I tend to fire like more often in my front arc. Maybe that's just
It's almost like if you could imagine playing Geometry Wars with a mouse,
Yeah.
I have a question. At any point, did they bring up price point for the Wii game?
Full price.
That is a problem. Do not want. I mean, especially with the announcement of WiiWare, like, so next year Nintendo, we're skipping.
Hey, hater boy, dude, it's a big game.
It's a game I spent $5 on with a few new modes. That's not a $50 game, dude. As much fun as Geometry Wars, and I love Geometry Wars.
So a whole bunch of new playing fields with new enemies and the ability to download it to your DS isn't worth it to you.
It doesn't make it worth 10 times as much. No, sorry. Do over.
$50? Well,
yeah, I mean,
it's better,
$20.
It's better than some of the crap I've seen coming out.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, there's definitely
we'll definitely talk about.
There's definitely
later.
worse Wii games coming, but I think they're screwing people with that price. You don't think that? You would gladly go and spend $50 for a game that's like a marginally changed version of something you spent $5.
I was talking about this the other day with someone, and I thought it was really funny how Geometry Wars had started off as a arcade cabinet that you walked up to in Project Gotham and played around with, and has now come all the way to a retail packaged product.
Right.
And
being developed by somebody else.
yeah, so yeah, I mean, I kind of have mixed emotions about it. Okay, yeah, $50.
Like, another game just came out, Super Stardust HD, which is a game. It's similar in a lot of ways to Geometry Wars. It's a remake of an old Amiga game, and it's kind of a new twist on Geometry Wars with some new options, and it is $8, and it looks better than this game is going to look, and it's because it's a PS3 downloadable game. It might also be coming to 360. I'm not sure, but yeah, like I don't think they should be charging $50.
Yeah.
So what do you think they should charge for it?
$19.99.
Yeah, exactly. I think it should be $20.
Maybe
because there's a lot more to it, but it doesn't strike me as Jesus.
Maybe this is just the ongoing brainwashing of Microsoft price points, but I'd pay $30 for it.
Yeah,
I would go $30.
It just makes me think.
Even though I just said full
when
price.
When is Microsoft just going to be able to announce the true sequel?
right.
We were talking to the PGR guys.
Yeah, they were very, very coy about it.
And they were very like, you'll learn soon enough what's going. Because I'm like, are you going to have, because
the
PGR
pressure
4
is
comes
on
out
now.
in September.
I mean, Galaxies is sufficiently more to warrant being a true sequel. I mean, it takes the
a
basic
true
idea.
downloadable game sequel, perhaps.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
But I think the pressure's got to be on to, do they take it out of that sort of vector graphics, super stylized thing and do something else with it? Because I think we're going to sort of just naturally ghettoize it a little bit because of the way that it looks.
Yeah.
Because, would you pay $50 for, the DEFCON or something like that? I mean, it has that same very simple... Is there are we applying like graphical quality to value here? I mean, if we are, I think that's a little unfair. Because I think you could probably... Without any question, not probably. You could get $50 worth of value out of it if you really get into it as a game.
Well, I mean, we all got a huge amount of value out of the Geometry Wars Evolved for 360 because it was very cheap and you play it forever and it's really fun.
And it was one of the best games at launch.
But
showed
that doesn't mean that this simple, repetitive arcade experience that's addictive is suddenly worth $50.
I'm just saying, you didn't see it. They showed there are a lot of new options in there that they showed.
But I'm with him. $20.
I'll borrow your copy.
All right.
What else have I played? Started playing Call of Juarez last night. I actually really like it.
Did you get to the blowjob section yet?
I did get to the blowjob section. So you go in, you see this girl.
Are you a priest though?
No. Well, actually, this is you are.
You're a Catholic priest.
You are a priest in some of the levels.
Oh, okay.
So what's interesting about it is it hops around within its own timeline, and it also hops around between the two main characters. So there's the guy who's falsely accused of murder, and then there's the priest who used to be a gunslinger who sort of reverts back to his gunslinger ways. But really early on in the game, you go to see this girl who works above a bar, and you go in and she like kneels down in front of you and unzips, and she's like, "Oh wow, how you've grown!" And then the door opens and some guy starts shooting at you.
Oh,
just as you were about to get it.
So this game wasn't that well received. It got kind of like
that's the story of Rocky Raccoon.
It got kind of average, slightly above average
it got
scores.
7s and 8s from people.
It got like 6, 7s, and 8s. I saw. But what do you think?
I think it's a 7. I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. It's flawed. I mean, it's got some problems, but how I think they're very consistent in terms of what their vision for it was. It's got a very sort of Deadwood kind of vibe to it. It's like a real sort of gritty Mexican border kind of cowboy story, and there's a sort of larger than life preacher character. And I mean, a lot of people misinterpreted some of the early video and stuff of it because people thought, oh wow, like one of the weapons is quoting scripture at people. Well, you do have a Bible when you're the preacher, and the triggers do actually read random bits of scripture. But the idea is that you go into an environment, and before some of the gunfights, you can actually whip out the Bible and just start randomly spouting this religious stuff, and it's supposed to disorientate the way that the guys fit, because it's a God-fearing community, and you are the preacher. So if you start preaching to them, it actually changes the way their behavior towards you is. And it's kind of, I mean, it's an interesting idea.
It's interesting. I mean,
and there's some interesting things.
You haven't done that in a game before.
No, you've never done that before in a game before. And there's some stuff using a whip to negotiate the environment in 3D. So it's not executed great, but there's things like as you're going through this.
The whip was impressive.
Very
it could
lush.
like cling on to nothing.
Yeah, I mean, there's some it's not very realistic. But there's a lot of stuff where, a very big open environment, you're being chased, and you're sort of crawling along the side of a mountain. You have to slide down it, and in parts of it, the only way to get any further is you have to do sort of an Indiana Jones whip onto a tree and swing over to another part of the environment. And it's got these huge, very well rendered environments.
You ever watch any spaghetti westerns?
I think it's beyond spaghetti western because it's nastier than spaghetti westerns. It's like there's some fairly brutal stuff in it, and it doesn't pull any punches on sort of its observation of what the culture was. It's like but
it's an Eastern European observation
of
what the culture was. So I kind of thought that's why it brought to mind the idea of maybe like a spaghetti western.
But I mean, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought. I was looking for something. I just wanted to try something different.
Okay, did you play Red Dead?
Yeah.
How would you compare this to Red Dead?
Very, very similar.
What about Gun?
I like it better than Gun.
Really?
Gun was different.
Because Gun's widely considered like the best Western game, I thought.
I mean, I really enjoyed Gun, but I'm actually compelled to, like, I put it in thinking I'm gonna put it in once, and if I never play it again, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But if I have the time tonight when I go home, I am going to play this game.
Did you spend $60 on this game?
I would not. I would rent it.
Thank you.
Yeah, which is why I think
sure.
I think that a 7 is absolutely. I mean, if I was going to score it, I wouldn't score anything higher than a 7. But I admire what they did.
Right.
I admire Ubisoft for taking a risk on something.
That's cool.
And I think that as a studio, these guys show a lot of potential because it looks really nice. There's a lot of good production values in it. I think they've been daring with a first-person shooter. There's some idea. There's some Max Payne kind of ideas, and there's some Red Dead Revolver type stuff. And it makes me think that as a genre, the cowboy thing, I think we could see a lot more from it. And then if it's going to be the new Red Dead, if they're going to show it soon, I'm more excited for that now.
They kind of announced it 2 years ago and then never talked about it again.
Yeah.
Cowboys and Indians, the new World War II.
I just think that it could be a huge genre, and no one's nailed it yet. I mean,
because there's so much that you can do with it. Like, it's not just a sort of real binary good guys versus bad guy. And what's really good about Juarez is that it deals all in shades of grey. I mean, there are extreme examples of it, but the further you get into it, the more it's sort of like toying with you.
They've already got the call of nomenclature down, so they're definitely ready to be a breakout genre. Next we'll have Medal of Juarez.
And then very quickly, I've also been playing Rainbow Six Vegas on PSP, which I need to spend some more time with because
That's a big frown.
I don't know.
Did they try to squeeze like the whole game on PSP, or is it like
it's different?
It's different. Okay.
But I'll talk about that more next week. And then I've been playing NASCAR 08.
Oh, who's been playing NASCAR 08?
Well, I've been throwing things at the wall while NASCAR 08 is on, and then earlier on I was so fed up with it that somehow I managed to talk Garnet into playing it while I watched.
Which was great. He kind of kicked his feet up. He's like taking notes. He's like, "Oh, good." And if you were reviewing this, how would you review it?
So it has. I have to play it a lot more. But there's this. It has a new career mode, which has taken a leaf out of Gran Turismo's book and is now has a strong license test mechanic to it, which is infuriating.
I've reviewed NASCAR games before.
You have. Wow.
It's an adventure.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that they added the natural pull left to the components of it.
Yeah, I think really hardcore NASCAR guys will find stuff.
Yeah,
really
call
like
Greg Stewart. Former e-Jimmer. He loves that stuff. He can tell you why it's awesome or why you should care.
He's actually playing it for the review.
Oh,
yeah,
then brilliant.
Yeah, and apart from Planet Puzzle League, which I'm sure Shane will gloat about,
I'll talk about that a little bit.
That was it. Shane, Shu, Jennifer, and I actually been playing Planet Puzzle League live on EGM Live this week. Where Shane,
well, is that what you guys were doing? You were playing it live on the show.
Shane would not stop until he'd won.
That's a fairly,
and then lost $1 to Shu, which he wouldn't pay up.
Oh, you lost on the air.
I don't want to talk about it.
You lost on the
air?
He
owes Shu $1.
Oh my God, that is so...
Shu more than that.
Oh, Friday has just been made over and again for me. That's fantastic.
I could beat you any day, don't worry.
Now, I would like to point out that you
beat me all the time.
You and I played Shane at Planet Puzzle League. And
I'm not good at it.
Right, how long have you been playing? I've been playing for 2 weeks.
All right, I got the game after you got it. I ordered it from Amazon.
Okay, so
I've been
less
playing
than
it for
2
a week
weeks.
and a half.
Shane, how long have you been playing this or variants of it?
30 years.
About a decade.
Okay. And how many times did I beat you? Just once.
I don't officially recognize that victory.
Wait, what do you mean you don't officially recognize?
He's a terrible loser.
Yeah.
My God.
We were playing in my office, and our marketing director came in to talk about some stuff about E3. And Shane claims that he was distracted.
I wasn't distracted when he was talking to you, but when he addressed me, I became quite distracted.
We've done Pokemon battles on EGM Live, and he's actually tried to hit my screen and my button so I would start doing commands.
Shane's kind of like that when an attractive man walks in the room sometime, though, so I can understand that.
You can make your little jokes, Garnet. It's not going to make you any better at Puzzle League, all right?
Dude, you know what? I freely admit I am not that good at the game, but I did send an impressive set of blocks at you yesterday that wound up in your demise, didn't it?
You already died.
No, I hadn't died at that time.
But John won.
John won, yes.
Anyway. Is that all you've been playing, John?
Yeah, that'll do for now.
Yeah.
How about you, Shane? Apart from Planet Puzzle League, because people are probably bored with us talking about it.
There's like million people just looked at they said.
Of Puzzle League. I was playing Heroes of Mana again for review, and Persona 3, which I talked about both.
Have you beaten it yet?
Persona 3, no, it's really, it's like 80 hours.
Oh, Jesus, really?
Up to 100 hours, depending on how much you want to play. Yeah,
that's too much for me.
But if you get into this game, you're going to want it because it's like a well that never stops giving.
Wow.
You know. But in addition to that, the game I wish I could talk about.
Brian's curling his lip at you.
The game.
No, because I watched him play it, and there's some freaky ass shit in that game.
Like the kids shooting themselves in the head to cast spells. I mean, like you kind of don't get over that.
Kind of that got me right there. I'm like, if that's not in your review, edit. I will be adding that because that was brilliant move.
Kids shooting themselves in the head. It's good stuff. The game I wish I could talk about, and I know everybody hates it when like, oh, should I say it? I tease people, but
then maybe you shouldn't.
But like soon, I'll be able to talk at length about all the Heavenly Sword I've been playing, which is like the first third of the game, around 20 levels. Yeah, so look forward to that.
When can you talk about that? Next week? Week after?
I'll let you know.
I would bet
I would
bet probably during one of the E3 shows, at least we'll be able to talk about it.
Hopefully. And I can talk about Little Big Planet because I finally got to play the thing from Gamers Day that you played.
Yep.
And I can talk about that. It's the thing we saw back at GDC. I finally got to play it with 3 other people, and I'd never got my hands on the game before. And you know, I'd heard you saying it was kind of overly complicated.
No, you heard Mark McDonald say that, not me.
Yeah, like because you control your hands independently, and like that's very weird. You know, Mario, you don't control his left and right hands independently, but it doesn't take long to get the hang of it.
It's super simple, dude.
It's super simple.
It's
anyone
really
who tells you the
simple to
game
play.
is complex is on crack.
It's just they just don't want to say a lot about it. That's the problem right now.
Right.
Like all besides like the community stuff, like how you're actually building it. Like I want to know like how long it takes to create a level.
Is it this year it's coming out?
There will be a demo, a downloadable version this year. The retail product.
I think it's got
next
game.
year.
I still think it's got Game of the Year potential.
Yeah, like having played it now and seeing how fun it is just to mess with your friends in a level and like you know you can try. Getting to the end of the level is fun.
I'm definitely pro Little Big Planet. Like,
Right.
I'm huge. Like I get in fights with certain people in the office.
Yeah.
Shoe.
Wait. There's people in our office who are anti-Big Planet?
No, they're not. They're skeptical.
I mean,
skeptical.
And it is so weird and so different. You never play anything like it.
To be fair, Shu thinks the idea is admirable, but doesn't think that people will respond to it.
Well, people were skeptical of hybrid cars, too. I mean, this is just the next thing that's, like, innovative.
Right.
I still think if this was a Nintendo product, people would think this was a second coming.
Right.
I still convinced.
Wow, that's a good point.
And the other thing there is if it was on Wii or if it was on DS, there'd be no doubt that it was also going to sell a lot of copies. I think part of its problem is that it's a PS3 game.
Right.
Yeah.
And that it's going to be deemed a failure because it can't sell enough to maybe fulfill its potential this year.
Well,
maybe that's why they're just going to do a demo.
I don't know. Here's the irony of it is as Microsoft is sitting there dying to get involved in casual space, something like this just screams the ability to like open up a big, broad market.
Well, these guys, they're not owned by Sony, are they? But they have signed it exclusively.
This deal is
but this is I'm saying this is like a product that Sony suddenly has dropped in their lap from an outside outfit that's going to work really brilliantly for them on that.
Well, and one of the things that she was concerned about was that no one will be able to make good levels, and that the internet will be full of shitty levels that you don't want to play. And I asked them, and they said no. There's definitely filters in place to keep like thousands of terrible levels from like filling. You know, like so you're not just go online and see a bunch of terrible levels. So.
I mean, I can't wait. I mean, I don't think I'll be big into like creating levels, but I'm going to be downloading like the best ones and stuff.
I think you will be into creating levels.
I don't know. I can't draw a stick figure, dude. I mean, I'll probably be downloading.
I think you'll be into doing it with other people.
You can roll an orange around,
Probably,
can't you?
I can do that.
I think the thing that's going to be big is doing it with other people. I think when you're in there with other people, like playing around the level,
And
throwing textures on the wall, and voice chat.
move that
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
That's the part that'll be cool.
I'm definitely excited, and like I guess we're going to get to see all new stuff at E3. So
Yeah.
that's
Sweet.
very exciting. The other big game that I can talk about finally is Contra 4. which I got my hands on last week and played 2 full levels of. And I was incredibly skeptical because the game that I last played by this developer, you also played, Brian, it was Ping Pals.
0.0
We
EGM.
both gave zeros to. Yeah.
What?
So,
Wow. There's a pedigree.
It's a worse version of PictoChat that
Right.
you had to buy for $30.
yeah. But I got to say,
How do you get a worse version?
It's worse. It's worse.
It lacks several
Did it just not
options.
function?
No, it just lacks some of the functions
Yeah,
of
that PictoChat
PictoChat, and the
has.
fact that you don't have to buy this.
Right.
There's no reason. Like, why didn't someone just say, "Let's cancel this thing now"?
Forget about Ping Pals.
Yeah. Well, I love talking about
Because
it.
Contra 4 from WayForward, the same developer, is like really to me kind of the sequel to Super C. I mean, it has elements of Contra 3 in it as well, but it really feels the most like Contra and Super C. And you pick it up, and it's as if this game came out in 1991 and you never heard about it.
In a good way or in a bad way?
In a good way and in a bad
So
and a bad
it's all
way.
2D. Does it have the top-down stuff as well? That
No,
Super C had?
it's no top-down stuff. They did say there are going to be some forward-scrolling levels like Contra had.
Okay.
We didn't get to play any of those, but it's basically just a straight side-scrolling shooter on the two screens, and it increases the verticality. There's lots of platforming now, and like what people didn't like about Shattered Soldier, which was the good PS2 Contra game, is that there was no platforming. It was all like a flat plane. So like, they're back to having platforming, and just really fun, really hard, cool weapons, co-op play. The only thing really not going for it, the graphics. I'm not impressed by the graphics. I'm not depressed by the graphics.
But is that the platform, or are you not impressed for them by what they're on the platform?
I think they could have gone a little further with DS graphics, but I think it is the platform partially.
So does it look more like Super Contra?
A little bit, yeah. So
Yeah.
It looks old, but it kind of should look old. And it plays old. And it's a throwback, and it's an excellent
And
throwback.
Super C, I had that. Even though the art wasn't great, it was very vibrant and stylized.
Yeah,
It was
right.
a little
It's very,
timeless.
it's very colorful, and like the bosses are pretty impressive. Like the second level we play, there's this huge fish boss, and he's really big, and he animates well, and it doesn't look quite as good as the Castlevania games, but it looks good enough.
Did you just play single player?
All we had was single player. Yeah.
What do we know about co-op? Is it going to be co-op? Is it going to be multi?
They had announced 4-player co-op, and then they're kind of backtracking on that and saying like, well, maybe just 2-player co-op. So
Even
I think with that, I would almost rather it was only 2.
I was going to agree.
yeah, Contra with 4
2-player.
people seems a little busy. To
It
me.
could get crowded.
Yeah. But yeah, I went from being highly skeptical when this got announced last week to having played it being, I'm going to buy this game.
Awesome.
So.
Is that the end of your list?
That's the end of my list.
Wow.
There you go.
That's amazing ended list. Okay, I'm going to jump in because I'm going to let Brian bring it home at the end. What did I even play? And today, I actually was playing Stuntman Ignition some.
I'm sorry.
Why?
I hate Stuntman 1.
Okay,
So he should automatically hate the sequel.
Right.
Nice.
Right, it was like such a knee jerk, dude. So look, here's what they did to fix your complaint.
Okay,
What was your complaint?
I hate games where the entire game design is built around you multiple times failing a level trying to get something perfect. And that Stuntman was, let me die 20 times on this level to figure out what I'm supposed to do to finish this level.
Okay, now if I took the failing part out and let you keep going through the level, but you got to tweak and tweak and tweak and perfect until you got it right, would you be okay with it?
So I'm only playing that level once.
You can only play once if you want to, but
And-
if you want to go back and continue to get better at it,
having never seen this level, I can play this level one time, and I'm going to finish that level and be able to play the next level.
you will probably be able to get to the end
Really?
of it if you get good at it. So they did this thing called a 5-strike rule, and basically what it is it gives you 5 director stunts that you can miss, and you're fine. You can still keep going. So you miss one, no big deal. You miss 2, no big deal. Until you miss your 5th one, you don't have to even start over. The only part that I found frustrating that defeats that is if you get completely out of the game area where where you're filming, it does make you.
How does it
restart.
handle? Because in Stuntman, it was somewhat flexible with actually, no, it wasn't. But
It was
I saw you,
completely inflexible.
yeah, I saw you doing some stuff where you just had to do a handbrake turn or whatever, or a 180.
Right.
But the stuff that really pissed me off in Stuntman was things like when you had to get under something before it was collapsing, and if you missed, it would kill you. How does it handle that?
You still have so you're still timed. So those events like falling trees.
But other stop dead because you are dead, where the 5
no, that would
strikes-
just be a strike. That would be a strike.
Okay,
you
so
drive around it.
Because Stuntman had some
It did-
premise of realism.
Right, it didn't have that strike system. If you missed something in Stuntman, it was
You
over.
were done.
It was
And
over,
then-
and you were screwed.
And then you had to just like reload the damn thing, and it took 5 minutes.
I gotta say, I played Stuntman, and I never had fun once.
I played Stuntman. I wanted to like it, and I never had fun once either. So I totally sympathize. And I'm saying that let me get to the good part before I get to the part where I tell you that it still frustrates me. The good part is that they fixed much of that, so you could drive around problems like that, and that really works. And they also added a Tony Hawk sort of mechanic where you're chaining tricks. So there's the director's spots that have the highlight places where you have to hit specific stunts, but you can also do all kinds of, like if you do like a burnout or a power slide, or if you come close to a wall, or anything you do that looks stylish counts as another trick, and you're chaining and building up your score. So there's this whole perfectionist sort of thing, which unfortunately plays on my like OCD of, oh my god, I have to make this level perfect, which means I'm still restarting it all the time, and it's still frustrating. So I mean, I don't know, if you have like a little bit less perfectionism than me, who's like pure type A, you'll have a lot of fun with it. I still had fun with it.
I think this game's gonna make me break stuff. Sorry.
The one thing that's cool about it is they fixed they spent a lot of time also on the loading system, so that once you've loaded a level, it's instantaneous restart.
That's good.
You click restart.
See, that was what compounded the frustration last time. Not only was it just ludicrously hard, that every time you fucked up, you had to sit there and wait.
And you would get to the very end of a level, I didn't go through this sign, reloads the entire level, start from the beginning, I'm going to kill somebody. Yeah.
Right. No, I mean, propers to them. They've done everything they could to make the Stuntman idea work. So now it's kind of a matter of, if you like the idea, then it'll probably work for you. If you don't like the idea,
Is it Reflections again?
No, it's not.
No, it's a developer in Texas. What's their name?
Well, it's not. It's a different developer.
It is a different.
And they also did multiplayer. We played multiplayer today.
Paradigm?
I don't know. Sure.
They made Pilot Wings 64.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
It looks really pretty. It runs pretty well. The movies that you make are cool, and especially like I finished the first movie today, and when you finish a movie, it like shows you like what you'd see in the theater sort of trailer with your stunts mixed in with a bunch of CG crap. So it's like,
do you share them as well, like in like the Burnout stuff where it would?
I didn't see any option for that. No, that would have been cool. That's a good thought.
I do remember in the first game, like the trailers and stuff were funny. Like it was a funny game, and I wanted to like it, but not so much.
But that was what you were supposed to aspire to. But it was so fucking obstructive to get there that you just stopped wanting it.
Yeah,
So I think this would work like in a Burnout sort of mentality, where you could play through the game and get like 2 or 3 or 4 stars most of the time, and then once you finish the game, you can go back and say, you know what, I really want to go back and perfect the second stunt section of the volcano movie.
I'll give it a second chance. I think it's a brave choice to return to one of the most frustrating games of all time.
It sold really well.
The online is a trip. The online, you do the same thing. So the online, you have races, which I put in like little air quotes, because you're also doing point scoring, and you're all competing on the same stunt set. So you're all trying to rack up bigger scores while you're running through the track. That's pretty cool.
Didn't Stuntman come out though right when Driver was at high peak, and everybody thought they couldn't do any wrong?
Right, and then it's from the makers of Driver, and since that time, things have changed.
So
downhill.
That definitely gave me some optimism for what it could turn out to be. I mean, I was pretty negative on it at first too, because I had bad experience. Yeah. So I was glad to see it today.
Everybody was like, Stuntman,
and it was smart for me to pick it up. The other game, and I guess we're going to talk about this some more next week on Sports Anomaly, is we've been doing football. Last week I did the All-Pro game.
Big B's all about the football. He's talking about it every day.
Yeah, so dude, NCAA, holy crap. I have been reviewing football games for us for a long time too, because it's like, if you're the sports guy, it's like you're the sports guy, right?
You're the sports guy forever.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's just the one thing about NCAA games.
I got hired at EGM because I was a sports guy, so I really can't complain too much.
It's true.
Here's what's crazy. All those times reviewing NCAA games, I always felt like NCAA was like the junior football game, right? This year, that shit does not feel like a junior football game at all.
See, I know you're not a big fan of college football.
I'm not. I don't know
I'm
it that
a gigantic fan of college football, and for a couple of years, I mean, in the last, say, maybe 5, I've actually scored NCAA higher than Madden. And this year, I mean, you can tell EA finally is starting to know what to do with the next-gen consoles. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, I've played NCAA just as much as you have, and I've actually got to play Madden, and there's a big difference. It's like the light bulb finally went on.
It only took 2 years for them to make a good one.
Dude, you know what? That's fine if it took them a little while.
Whatever. I mean, they brand new engine. It took them 2 years. I mean, it wasn't the way everybody wanted it to, but at least they're getting there. I mean, at least it's there. I also been playing. I know you said you played All Pro, but I've been playing that a lot too. And the people are asking. I see on the boards, why is there no footage of this game? I'm like, you'll know when the game ships.
I mean,
why
whenever you guys
talk
talk about Off-Road, it's almost like you really wanted them to have a really awesome.
I wanted
game.
because I think the concept can work. I think the idea of building a game around all these legends can really work. I mean,
absolutely, can
totally.
work.
The problem with a second football game, which this is, like they're almost like guaranteeing like this is like your second football game.
It is. I mean, but thing is, like Blitz was my second football game.
But it was different. It was really different.
And it was different. I mean, and it worked. I mean, I didn't think the story stuff worked really well, but the gameplay was really tight, and I thought it's 2K, it's going to play well, and the Legends may be a good hook.
It does play well. Now,
it does play well.
Does play well.
But for reasons I don't want to go into like right now because we're still in the process of reviewing it. I know some people out there are thinking this is Second Coming. It's not the Second Coming, and I'll leave it at that. It's not. And there's a reason why you haven't seen a lot of footage on this game.
It's sort of the Second Coming.
It's something. But I mean, honestly, people keep asking, like, why is there no gameplay footage? Why haven't we seen much coverage? Well,
there you go. On the plus side, I think there's a good reason you see and will see a lot more of NCAA because damn, that game.
NCAA is great. NCAA is awesome. I mean,
the animations, they have so many animations in there now. The whole like being able to, like we talked about, knock people out of the air in defensive secondary. The fact that defensive secondary actually plays a decent football game now.
Yeah, I mean,
you can play. You can actually run the ball. I mean.
It's feature heavy. I mean, one thing now, last year NCAA was very feature light because it was the first year on 360. Now it has like full Dynasty mode, a recruiting system.
Wait a minute, full Dynasty? The Dynasty mode is absurd.
The recruiting thing's pretty nuts. I mean, and I hate that stuff usually, and I totally got into like, come to my school and here's why, and I'll tell you why you should come, and I'll promise you playing time first year and all that kind of stuff. And then Campus Legends, kind of like Superstar mode, where you just concentrate on one player and the camera kind of adjusts so like it's much closer to the action. And in Madden last year, that was the worst thing in the world. It was almost unplayable, and now you can basically play any position. It totally works. It's really good.
Do you want to talk about the differences in the 360 and PS3?
I guess we can. Yeah, I mean, we can. I mean, I've gotten confirmation. I'm working on a new story for 1UP right now. There is a difference between the 360 versions of football, all the football games, and the PS3 version.
And it's going to be a big deal.
I've confirmed with 2K and EA that their PS3 versions of NCAA, Madden, and 2K8 will all run at 30 frames per second, while the 360 versions will run at 60.
What?
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
So that's a big deal. I mean,
why?
I don't.
Familiarity with hardware?
EA refuses.
That's probably a big
EA
part.
refuses to comment, other than they will say that, yes, we are running at 30 frames on PS3 for both games. And I'm still waiting for comments from 2K. And as soon as I get those, I will be talking to Sony because for something that football games typically sell systems, they're a system seller, that is a huge knock.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
It is.
It's a big deal. And I've seen some people talking about this before. I mean, it sounds like the 360.
Wait a minute. I mean, we definitely need to talk to Sony because the Sony of the old days, Phil Harrison and his team would move heaven and earth to make sure that never happened.
Yeah.
There'd be new versions of the PlayStation Optimizer, and he'd airlift a fucking SAS team of like crack coders into the studio to like get that shit done. I mean, why the hell is this happening?
The thing that's really amazing is that it's not just an EA problem. It's just not a 2K problem. It's
a problem.
It's a big problem. Like, well, if I was Sony, I'd be like, "What are we doing?"
The problem. It's not a big surprise that most PS3 ports of 360 aren't as good. And why is that?
But if I'm Sony, I'm sitting there going, okay, EA, we know your game sells our system. How do we make it the best possible?
Wait.
How do we give it an advantage over the three? Not even make it as equal to the 360. Make it above the 360 version.
What were you saying there about 360 games not being as good as PS3?
Because they're usually ported over to PS3 from 360. So you have the existing 360 base code. I'm sure Madden was like lead platform,
right?
Lead platform 360.
Right.
So when you move it over there, from what I've heard from people in the development community, is they have RSX just do all the graphics, and that's it. Like
because they're not taking the time to engineer it
to completely recode and redo the game to use Cell. They don't have the time. They don't have the resources
because Cell's too much of a trouble to work. Here's what I've heard. I mean, we all talked to developer. Here's what I heard that kind of knocks onto that, which is that many games have been being developed first on the 360. The thinking being that they're familiar with working on 360 because of the way the platform worked, being easier to work with.
If you code a game for Cell, you can't port that to the 360 easily.
I've actually heard one developer that told me just the other day that they're going to actually start their game on PS3 first.
That's what Criterion's doing with Burnout.
Yeah.
Burnout Paradise leads on PS3.
And maybe it's a racing game thing. This was the Rally dudes, because we were talking about, how do you go back and forth from platform to platform. They said, look, we've seen and talked to all these guys who do 360 first, figuring that they'll get the grunt work done there and then move it to PS3 and had trouble. We're going to do the grunt work on PS3, figuring that whenever we do finish that, we'll be able to easily take it over onto 360.
Right.
That says to me, it's easier to work on PS3 than PS3, which is something we've said over and over.
360 than PS3. You mean you said PS3 then PS3? Yeah,
right. I'm sorry, I said
agree.
it backwards.
Well, I think from a development perspective, it costs a huge amount of money. You have to have a lot more people to maximize both consoles.
But I don't think you're going to see multi-platform games that look better on one or the other, because they have to, whichever system is the limiting factor for different things. We both know they have strengths and weaknesses.
No, but that's not the case, though.
No, but that's not the case. And as I was saying, Madden looks
breaks that.
Madden looks better in 360, and from what I've heard, Burnout looks better in PS3. And I think for the most part, the 360 versions are the lead SKUs, and that's why we're seeing.
I hadn't heard
better.
that. That'll be interesting, though. If Burnout turns out better on PS3, that'll be.
I've heard it is right now.
This multi-platform situation is really becoming a real problem.
I mean, if I'm Sony, what am I doing?
But what can
football sells systems.
But what can you do? Send here's 100 people to finish the PS3 version.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, in the old
yes,
days,
you do.
They would have sent. I mean, not 100 people, but they would have gone and they would have helped with the code.
They may not have the resource.
I heard during the PS2 days, EA would go over to Japan to learn how to make that PS2 work. I mean, Sony should be helping at all costs right now, making sure that the PS3 version, if not better, at least runs as good as the 360 version.
We'll see.
And I mean, we're still working the details. I just got confirmation that that's true. I'm still waiting for comments from 2K.
Is there any 6-axis
stuff
stuff in the PS3 NCAA? No.
I have no idea. I've never seen the PS3 version.
Oh, well, there you go.
I've never seen the PS3 version. I'm sure it's going to be the same thing as it was in Madden, you pull back the hike, and who gives a shit? I'm not going to use it anyway.
Well, so now we've gotten all upset about it. The original part of this all was, if you're a football fan, even if you're not a big college fan this year, you might really want to go check out NCAA. It's really good.
And I mean, I have to say, I have seen the PS3 version of 2K8, and it's not a huge difference.
We played it. You and I played it.
But it's a difference. So I don't know, but I don't know how that's going to affect the EA games. Just telling you right now, playing NCAA at 60 frames per second on 360 fucking rocks.
All right, I got some other stuff I'll save. Oh, you know what? One thing I will bring up real quick is if you go to our site and check out the free play or whatever Sharky's column is, where he does the 3 free games on PC. Did you see that game that I played that was like Geometry Wars?
Yeah, it's a cross between Geometry Wars and Asteroids.
I think it's called Echoes or something like that. If you've got 5 minutes, you should download it if you have a PC. It's really funny. It's basically like Geometry Wars crossed with Asteroids. It's fun, 5-minute free diversion.
What else are you playing, Big B, besides footballs?
I just got Mario Strikers. Which
you played a bunch
already.
Which
I played a bunch already, and it's really fun.
Well,
so I'm not really afraid to say it's a fun game.
Whenever somebody tells me, it's not the same game. I'm
it's not. It's
not the same game.
I went to Nintendo event about a month ago, and I went up there going, "Oh, this is a port with online play." It's not a port. It's a full-fledged sequel. A lot of stuff. I mean, if you read my preview on One Up, I talk about how you organize your team and all the new stadiums and all the Wii remote functionality that actually works, and the online play that you don't need to use friend codes. It's great. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to finally playing the final version.
No, friend codes.
You don't need a friend code to play somebody.
Nintendo fans are going to be shocked by the positivity coming out of Brian.
No, I mean, I think Strikers is really fun. I mean, I'm actually looking forward to
it. Looked cool when I saw it at GDC.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, that's one thing I don't understand about Nintendo. What? They never came out and said, no, this is a true sequel. It's going to have all this cool stuff. They just said, here's Mario Strikers.
We just got Brain Age 2, and I do want to try it out. We just got that today, so hopefully next week we'll talk about that. Yeah.
All right.
Go on.
You playing anything else?
Not really. Am I playing anything else? No, I play Heavenly Sword when it's in the office. That's what I've been playing. Yeah, I'm not. I'm in football land, dude. You
should play more Heavenly Sword.
I know. I want to. I just don't have a debug right now to bring home and play on the weekends.
I'll say I'm fully dying for Madden to come in now after playing NCAA.
Oh, we get Madden next week. I played it 2 weeks ago, and it looks awesome.
Browns, Cowboys, it's on.
Oh, by the way, I beat Garnett when we played NCAA. Killed them, so.
Yeah, okay. What was the
next, we're done.
What was the matchup?
Next segment.
Oh, that's right. It was
next segment.
It was Ohio State, you playing Ohio State, and
Michigan?
Texas Tech.
Doesn't matter.
I play my alma mater.
Who won Ohio State versus Michigan?
And
I lost to the computer.
And how was that Ohio State Texas Tech blowout?
It was great. It felt great. It was awesome. I was riding high the whole rest of the night.
Let's say I heard my band play some too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it only got ugly at the very end.
Yeah, it kind of ugly then. Anyway, we got plenty of stuff to talk about in the next segment for sure, because Brian's going to give us all the first details on what we're going to be seeing and playing in a couple of weeks in L.A. or Santa Monica, to be more correct. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by the Entertainment Consumers Association. A single voice may not be heard, but a collective voice cannot be ignored. Speak up and keep your favorite games on the shelves. Join the ECA at www.theeca.com.
All right, we're back and ready to get at it, and we're going to start off with John digging into the message boards leading up to our little E3 festival.
Okay, what we got? Reverend Slim picked up on actually started the thread before the weirdness came about with this, but Rainbow Six Vegas Players Pack Black Edition was up on Xbox Live for 800 points for about an hour.
And then went away, right?
And then it went away.
Ooh.
Oh, I missed this story. What's this?
Yeah, so the Black Edition, follow up to the Red Edition. It's 5 new maps, 3 new, 2 Redux, in keeping with sort of the way. No new gameplay modes, just new maps. But it included the Presidio from Rainbow Six 3, which is one of people's favorite maps from that game. It was up for a while, and a bunch of people downloaded it and have been playing it. But as we're recording this, it is currently not on Xbox Live. And Major Nelson was extremely vague when asked about it. It's another one of those weird, it's up, oh, there's something wrong with it, it's down again.
If you're going to pull a Jack move like that, can't you just at least come clean and say what the hell happened?
So maybe when it gets reposted, we might hear, but the people that have been playing it have said that given that it's the same price as the Red Edition, it doesn't feel quite as much, and 2 of the maps are Redux, but they're very good, and the Presidio is proving very popular because fans of the franchise really love it. There's another one called Wartown, which apparently is so huge that people are saying that they should up the player count for it because it's like a huge war zone, and like people have said that when they've played it that it is actually very, very good. So Ubisoft continuing to support Rainbow Six Vegas, which is good to see.
In other shady Rainbow Six news, a friend of mine who had bought the PS3 version, the long-delayed PS3 version of Rainbow Six 3 that just came out this week, was saying that the netcode is really shaky and that voice chat was like in and out. And
really? Because I played it and I thought that the voice chat in the PS3 version was markedly better than the 360 version.
Wow, apparently experiences may vary. So
yeah. You think?
As I'm taking
No, in fact, I reviewed it, and it's. I mean, the PS3
You had no problems.
I had no problems at all,
Wow.
and actually commented on the fact that voice chat quality was better. And the other thing is that in terms of value, the PS3 version is actually the best version because you get everything that's in the 360 version, everything that's in the Red Edition Players Pack, and more. For the same price as the 360 version.
Well, apparently the anecdotal evidence from my friend.
Sounds like an as seen on TV ad.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there you go.
Your experience may vary. My ding-a-ling says, NES games, let's admit it, they suck.
No!
They're repetitive, they're pointless, and they're ugly.
All right, child, shut the fuck up. That's
His name's my dingaling, all right?
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Okay, maybe you had to be there, brat. All right? Sorry.
All right, then. In other news,
Serenity...
did he have any backup? I mean, come on, you can't just toss that out there. That's like a hand grenade. Did he have any backup?
Well, that was kind of why I put it in there. They did turn into a discussion where people were bringing up that, look, there were classics born out of this period, but I figured it was, it was contentious enough
I think
to throw it out there.
The quality is the same as it is now, really. There's shit there and there's shit now.
You don't think that they're repetitive, pointless, and ugly?
No.
There's a your mom joke there, but I'll leave it on the table.
Ooh. Much like I left your mom on the table.
Hey!
After I repeatedly...
Winner.
Yeah.
We have a winner. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sorry.
Try the veal.
Serenity 5306. What do you play when you're burned out with everything? What is your palate cleanser?
Puzzle League.
Yep.
Actually, I have some weird palate cleansers. They involve like Zelda 2 and Castlevania 3.
Really? You go old school? A lot of people said, are casual games like a palate cleanser by definition for hardcore gamers? Like when you really just want to like completely refresh everything? Because I found I do that. I play Puzzle League, which I guess is casual.
It's casual.
And I play Bookworm.
That's fucking casual.
Yeah, which I love.
Dude, I don't know what the hell Bookworm is, but that's all right.
You never play Bookworm?
Is Bookworm by... Is it by PopCap?
Yeah.
Because I have a complete digression that's going to completely derail this entire
We have that
thing.
news.
Oh, okay. I'll wait for it for then.
Thanks.
Thanks.
PopCap bitching and whining.
So yeah.
I roll
Pot kettle
20.
black.
I roll 20 said that Elite Beat Agents does it for him, which I guess is kind of casual as well.
Yeah.
And Guitar Hero 2 came up a lot for people.
Really?
You threw out that question. We should run around. So we did yours. What's your palette? Do you have a palette
I would say
cleanser?
right now I have two. I mean, I don't know what you call them, like casual. Geometry Wars and the new Pac-Man.
Oh, yeah, Pac-Man for me as well. Definitely.
Like Luke Smith would yell at me when I play like for 3.5 straight hours, and then all of a sudden he just told me it was like the greatest game ever. So
What if someone I can't remember where I read this, but someone said that the 360 has changed the way that you turn on a console, because in the past, you would turn on a console with a game already in it, knowing what you were going to play, and now you can turn on the 360 and the PS3 to some degree, but maybe not as much right now, and just turn it on and not really know what you're going to do.
this is what I do.
Around on
I
it.
turn it on. I check who's online. I go to the marketplace to see what's new.
Yeah.
And then if I don't know what I want to play or how I feel, if I'm downloading something, I play like Geometry Wars or Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
It's funny. I realized.
And then I'll.
I realized I play Geometry Wars on 360 the most, and I play like Calling All Cars and Flow on PS3 because they're there. You know, it's like, oh, I can play this for 5 minutes.
But
and have fun.
that's a really
Blast
unique
Factor.
thing for consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unique to this generation.
Well, I don't have a palette cleanser anymore. It kind of sucks. I was just thinking about that. My palette cleanser used to be Counter-Strike, but I don't
How
really
about some Shadowrun?
Oh.
I also find on the Wii that
why do you always got to go troll
It's
it
like
that?
Counter-Strike. No, it's like Counter-Strike. I'm not trolling. It's a worthwhile suggestion, dude.
You know what? Counter-Strike was my palette cleanser.
Skip likes it.
Counter-Strike was my palette cleanser because I had played enough of it that I could just jump in and play it and be decent enough to just have fun with it. And I don't have another shooter anymore. I mean, sometimes, you know what it is? Maybe some Halo 2. Maybe I'll just throw in some Halo 2 and play some Halo 2.
I found on the Wii that I'll just tool around with stuff as well. Like, I'll make people I know in the Me generator and stuff like that.
Or actually, you know, a funny one is like Everybody Votes. I do that.
I play that. Yeah.
I've tried on my Wii, like not very much in the last month, but when I do, I usually play Everybody Votes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I still have 100%.
I don't even have
prediction
mine
record.
hooked up right now. I don't.
Really?
I don't even
I
own
don't have
one.
a reason.
I don't even own one. Sorry. I mean, I'd like to own one, but
Wow.
maybe I wouldn't like to own one enough.
Chang3 has a thread about the most disturbing game you've ever played, and comes up with a real gem that I actually remember. Harvester. Do you remember Harvester? 1996.
Yes.
It was an FMV point-and-click adventure that kind of had a lot of Twin Peaks about it.
Oh, I should play this.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like the biggest Twin Peaks
It was
fan I've ever
creepy.
met.
And he says it still holds up pretty well.
Wow. I'm going to vote for my favorite D2 by Warp, my favorite company. The
Tentacle Man.
The Japanese version has some really amazing tentacle rape scenes.
Oh.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it earlier, Manhunt, because I actually played Manhunt with a headset
It's
on.
pretty fucked up.
With the lights off, and the first time I jumped and took a big, deep breath in, and they heard me because I was playing with the headset on, I was like,
Well, and just the GIMP stuff, and there's some
the GIMP
scary
was,
shit.
Yeah, it was pretty dwarfed.
I don't know. I think Silent Hill's pretty.
Yeah.
I think Silent Hill's pretty.
I
fucked
remember
up.
playing
Ooh, yeah.
the first Silent Hill still,
See,
And those trailers, the freaking bunny and shit,
Silent
freak me out.
Silent Hills 2 and 3 both have parts that really got to me.
Yeah.
there was one of the Fatal Frames. Was it Fatal Frame 2 that was good?
Those were good.
2 and 3 were both good.
Yeah, Fatal Frame 2 I remember being really kind of creepy and
Aren't they doing another one?
yeah.
I only really played the
far out.
first Silent Hill. Did the second and third have the whole dynamic of the radio
Dude,
and walking through
2,
the fog?
You missed out. 2 and 3 are the best.
No, the room was not good. Was it?
That's 4.
That's 4.
Oh, that's 4.
And it's not bad, but 2 and 3 are the best.
Yeah, they were good. And that was when I thought the music was better back then. It was that whole vibe and
The atmosphere is amazing. The gameplay and that's
What got to me in 1 was wandering around through the fog with that frickin' radio and it the static
actually,
building and
I can't really talk about it yet, but I got to play Silent Hill Origins again.
Oh,
and,
nice.
It's a lot like Silent Hill 1, but with Silent Hill 2 and 3 style graphics, and it's looking really good. So
Sweet.
There you go.
So Fishface picked up on something that I hadn't been paying attention to, and it was very interesting that Mass Effect has an ESRB rating. Did you know this?
How'd they manage that?
Mass Effect is M-rated.
Wow.
What?
With the descriptors, get this. This will change the way you feel about Mass Effect. Blood, obviously.
Tobacco use?
Violence, obviously. Partial nudity and sexual themes.
Nice.
Way to go, BioWare.
Hopefully, it'll be done this year.
Let's hope.
Oh.
Everybody, let's hope.
Well spotted, Fishface. Thank you for that.
Good job.
David Too Crazy asks, this turned into a 16-page thread.
Whoa.
Is SOCOM being ignored by the media? Saying that there's been So, I mean, I jumped in on this one as well because I think there's a lot of factors to this. And I think he's right that the Confrontation and the new PSP game haven't had a lot of coverage.
Confrontation is definitely being downplayed because it's like not a real game. It always gets prefaced, this isn't the real SOCOM. Zipper's making the real one.
That was, I think, a big mistake by them saying that this is not the real SOCOM.
Because I think out of necessity, it is going to become a real one because I think Zipper's game is going to take longer than they anticipated.
Of course. If you're going to build a game in a franchise, it has to be a real one.
Right.
Come on.
Also,
that's a silly thing to say.
they've had saturation issues with this franchise in the past. And one of the problems with SOCOM is that SOCOM 3 introduced a bunch of new stuff that people didn't like, and then Fireteam Bravo 1 and 2 were on top of each other, and suddenly we were just sort of overwhelmed with SOCOM-y stuff.
But
and
they were well received for PSP games, for sure.
Yeah. And SOCOM 3, even though some people loved the new stuff in it, it didn't go down as well. And then, I mean, the other thing is that one of the reasons I think the media isn't going as crazy is that we're not getting the response that we saw previously. If you look, that we posted the Confrontation video a month ago,
right,
and it got 38,000 views. We posted the Call of Duty 4 bog freeing video, whatever the hell it was called, a week ago, and it had 10 times the number of views. So I think the fact that it's PS3, is probably part of the problem.
Well, and also,
I'll tell you what I think is part of the problem.
It doesn't look that awesome.
It doesn't. The graphics.
Yeah.
It's the graphics.
Yeah.
It doesn't look that.
And what it's doing is it's diminishing the fact that this is a fucking awesome franchise.
Yeah.
I think we underestimate the amount of derailing of the series that the third edition did, because every time we talk about SOCOM, I get a mailbox full of stuff in my 1UP folder of guys who are talking about, man, I'm so glad you're talking about how they're bringing back the real, because the last time they did a good SOCOM was SOCOM 2.
Well, and they really appreciated Ribicki's review.
They turned off the fan base. They turned off the fan base, and they're going to have to they're going to have to do it right and prove to the fan base that they know what CQB is all about still, and get those tight maps and get that game style that they liked of having those intense firefights with people in your face, and not those big, broad, open maps.
Well, in the latest EGM, we have a big preview, and Seth Louisi, the producer, talks all about that. They're going to keep it more confined. They're not going to have these huge...
For Confrontation, you mean?
Yeah,
or for the real
for Confrontation.
It's weird, though, because I think people are treating Confrontation like, well, it's throwaway, it can be good, it can be bad, it doesn't matter, because the real one's still coming, you know?
I just think the way they went about presenting this game was bad. They were so quick to say, "Oh no, Zipper's working on the real SOCOM."
Yeah.
They need to go back and look at what they did in SOCOM 2 and build on that, because I was listening to the GFW radio and Sean was talking about Enemy Territory Quake Wars, and the stuff in that game.
Yeah, Garner, you were talking about that a little while ago too, weren't you?
Yeah, but the stuff in Enemy Territory that SOCOM 2 was doing years ago. Everyone complains about symmetrical maps in online shooters. Well, SOCOM was doing asymmetrical, three-dimensional maps years ago. There were missions where the SEALs had to go in and rescue hostages from terrorists in SOCOM 2, where you would start up on a hill, you had to work from high ground to low ground into a building, kill the guys off in the building, work your way down into the basement, get the hostages, and then get them back up the hill to a helicopter on the outside. It was so complex, and there's PC games that are only doing that now.
Right. I mean, and SOCOM is a really popular franchise, and that's why it's kind of curious if they are mishandling it. It's one of the, it's like a million-selling franchise. Every game sells 1 million, and then Confrontation. It seems like, is this the right plan for this franchise?
And I'm not negative on Quake Wars, by the way. We're going to talk about it some more next week, because
Sean was not happy with what you said on this podcast.
You know what? Sean came by and tweaked the settings on my computer, and it's running so much better now. I'm very much happier with it.
Pantsless Jedi.
Wow.
Nice.
Asks.
He's friends with Dingaling.
No, you're Dingaling. My Dingaling.
That's right.
My Dingaling, not your Dingaling. Have you ever, the ultimate gamer geek off, suggesting that, have you ever passed up a social activity for something in a game?
Yes.
Have you planned time off work, timed with a game release?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes.
Have you gotten a gamer tattoo?
No.
Considered it, never done.
Okay, so people took this ball and ran with it. Spooky Otaku. Have you ever turned down sex in order to play a game?
No.
Negative.
No.
Brian?
Oh!
Brian?
Oh, confirmed.
What will your fiance would not be pleased.
I didn't know she wanted to have sex, all right? It was a wink that I was turning to watching the game. That I didn't see the wink. And
Dude, you don't read that?
I missed
know what's happening.
Which game?
No, I don't want to say, because it'll tell exactly what time of my life I gave up sex. I can't do it.
Which game?
I want to get married in 2 months.
Which game? Which game?
I can't
Which
say.
game?
Was it KOTOR?
No. No, I didn't even have a girlfriend during KOTOR.
It was Madden 05.
No, not. It wasn't that. No, but what
Let's
happened
just make
was
up our own game for him then. If he's going to be like that.
I was playing
Cooking Mama.
I was playing a game and I was looking at the screen and she said something to me and I didn't turn around and I guess she thought I was looking at her because she winked and then went to the bedroom and I just.
And then you never showed up.
And then she,
man.
next morning she's like,
That's
movie
material.
I wanted to do it and I was like, oh.
I wanted to be Ganon.
Brian is grandma's boy.
So yeah, that's
wow.
Yeah, I apologize.
My dingling's in this one as well. He says he didn't go to prom because he was playing FF11. And then
I never went to prom.
Is my dingling milky?
Cheerbone says he has passed up sex because he's married and he can get sex wherever he wants, and she turns him down all the time. So why can't he?
You know all about that, John.
When you're married, things do change, Brian.
I'm fucked.
Oh dear!
Wow.
Oh dear!
You were saying the boards aren't fun.
They are sometimes.
They don't change that much because then you just start spending the money on the girlfriend that you have to buy the apartment for.
Yeah.
Wow.
And moving on.
And moving on to E3 predictions.
Woohoo! Nice.
So, how are we going to do this? I have a bunch of predictions from the guys
why
on
don't
the
you
boards.
tell us what the boards are talking about? Then we'll chime in with our own predictions.
So, I put this up pretty late because when we decided this was going to be a two-parter, we were originally going to do this next week, but we have so much stuff. So I asked for there was another thread on the board about what predictions for the rest of the year. But I wanted stuff specifically. What do you think is going to be announced during that week down in LA? And the person that impressed me the most with his prescient predictions was a guy at Nintendo Theater who has a huge list of things that he thinks are going to happen. So I'm going to go through these, and you tell me if you think that it's
going to happen or not happen.
Number one, Sony finally explains what the fuck Africa is.
I think they're going to wait for TGS for that one, actually.
TGS.
Wait, the bigger question is whether Sony even has a fucking clue what Africa is.
Oh, no.
Kuragi knew what it was.
I talked to Phil about it, and he knew what it was, and, I'm really excited for Africa, actually.
When you guys are just, having, drinks one night, we're hanging out.
Came over to your place. And
yeah. Guys playing Heavenly Sword, talking about
I think Africa's going to be fucking awesome.
Okay. Oh, my God. How can you say that?
Dude, the idea of, walking around the savannah and taking pictures of zebras excites me. I like Pokemon Snap, okay?
All right, next one. Still Nintendo Theater's predictions here. As far as the PS3 is concerned, Devil May Cry 4 and Little Big Planet will steal the show. Just purely from the PS3 perspective.
No and no.
No?
No and yes.
No and yes.
No and yes.
No and yes.
Yeah. Devil May Cry 4 is great, but it's great across both platforms.
Yeah.
And it's seen before. It's not going to surprise you. LBP, they'll show some more new stuff.
Right.
You'll get more in Transpire.
MGS4 is the one.
I do think that people are downplaying DMC4. I think DMC4 is going to show really, really well. It's a great game. Has great graphics. It's really fun. It's a good game. Yeah.
I predict it will be what we've seen already.
Yeah. You think Loco Roco sequel on PSN?
On PlayStation Network?
Not exact. Kind of.
Yes. Kind of. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, it's different.
Ninja Gaiden 2 trailer, at least.
More than that.
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie 3 playable?
No.
No, really?
No.
Negative.
I say maybe a trailer.
It's rare.
At best.
But didn't they already tease it?
Yeah.
Very short teaser.
Yeah,
it was CG.
X06, yeah.
Short CG trailer.
There's no room for this game right now in their lineup. They have too many other things they have to tell people about.
Well, one thing that if he's right, and I think that we all agree with, that the 2 Human will be almost invisible. There's some room there.
No.
2 Human trailer, that's it.
There is a new trailer, and it's going to look really good.
We should be playing this game now. We should be playing this game now.
I believe in Dennis's vision.
Look, Brian.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
At least one person does. Wait. The rule is we're not playing a game till it's completely done anyway. So why you? I mean, it only be.
He won't show it on principle.
There were just some new images came out this week. He's on message boards.
There is no way
it.
After all the shit that went down last year, there is no way they're showing 2 Human at this.
There will be a new trailer that looks very impressive. And it will not come out this year.
There might be a special playable version just for IGN.
Oh. Wow.
Hey, Dennis, if you're listening, I'd love to play your game again.
Teaser for Gears 2.
Teaser.
No.
Come on.
You know why I don't think that'll happen? Because the PC version.
I don't think it'll happen because of Unreal Tournament. Epic is very good about being laser focused on their game when they're working on their game, and right now their game is Unreal Tournament.
Well, Well, I think it's the fact that anything might look better than Halo. They don't want,
Yeah, I think they could, but they should. They should.
I don't think they need to.
Bullshit. Epic does not take their marching orders from Microsoft in any way, shape, or
Well, if it's
fashion.
going to come out for 360, they're gonna.
These days, Epic's cashing their checks from Sony. So
That's right. No, I don't think they do that at all. I don't think they give a shit. If anything,
there's no Gears at. There's no Gears.
If anything,
at 3.
Gears 2 is coming, but
Of course it is.
You're not going to hear about it until after September.
if Mark Rain could go out there right now and put a Gears of War 2 that looked better than Halo 3 in front of people, he would do it in a heartbeat. He'd be like, "Oh yeah,
Nah.
I'm stealing the show."
But it's a nice decision to make. Gears of War doesn't
It's a
belong to him.
Microsoft
It's a
property.
Microsoft franchise.
Yeah.
That's
Because
the,
of the-
that's the
because of the-
difference between Gears and UT.
Exactly.
UT, you can do whatever the
because
fuck you
of the
want.
publishing partnership. Okay.
You say that like you're making a concession.
No, you're
to it.
right.
It's
No,
the
you're right.
truth.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
They're not showing
You're
Gears
right.
2 at E3.
No.
No way.
But they're still not showing it there.
No mention of it. Nothing. They'll say they'll talk about Gears as a franchise of 360. That's all they'll mention.
I think this guy's right on a tease. I think we'll get the cog stamp and a 2 at the end of the
Nah.
Didn't we
presentation.
come up with something like an Unreal Engine 3 demo that just happened to
No,
look
I don't think
surprisingly
they'll show
like
anything on the
Gears
game.
2?
I think there'll be cog 2 fall 2008.
What
I
about-
think they'll do it at the press
But
conference.
Microsoft does own the co-publishing rights to the Gears of War, but they don't own the Gears of War universe.
Right.
Just saying that.
Is that you dropping a PS3
Just
bomb?
saying.
That's because Microsoft will pay
it's,
for it.
It's Gears
if
of War
that's true.
PSP.
Gears of War DS.
All right, moving on. Still with Nintendo Theater, nearly done with his predictions. Wii Sports 2, full price game.
I think it's an inevitability, but I don't think this is the right time necessarily.
No?
I think the Mario vs. Sonic will be the Wii Sports game that they have
That's a good
during that
call.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Animal Crossing on Wii will be playable.
I hope so, Jesus.
That
Has to be.
has to
They've
be.
been sitting on this and teasing it forever, and it's such a huge franchise
it's a big
for
deal.
them.
And wasn't that the whole catalyst for the whole 24-hour
Yes.
7
and
thing?
at the end of the Animal Crossing anime feature film that came out in Japan 6 months ago, they said, "See you soon on Wii." Really?
But here's the thing about Nintendo. We know about Smash Brothers. We know about Metroid. We know about Mario. Those are all coming out this year. We know nothing.
We know Wii Fitness. We know that exists.
Yeah, but we know
Yeah.
nothing regarding 2008.
we know
This is-
Animal Crossing exists.
Yeah, but I'm saying they have to start showing that
Right,
2008 stuff. It's time.
The last one in Nintendo Theater's prediction, I think this one's definitely got potential. Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
All right.
I don't think
I
it
guar-
won't be playable though.
Other stuff. The Brain predicts Twisted Metal Black 2.
No way in hell.
I think there might be a Twisted Metal download game for PS3. That's what I think.
It will
PS3
not.
or PSP?
PS3.
It will
See,
not. There will be no
I
talk.
think
of
the only
Metal.
Twisted Metal news we'll get is that whatever the PSP one was called at launch ported to PS2.
That's a possibility.
Other one from the Brain, Zoe 3. I think you're hoping on that one.
Well,
mate.
no, actually, in the latest EGM, we report that Kojima Productions is working on a new PS3 exclusive game, and we say it probably isn't Zone of Enders 3. I think it would be awesome if it was Zone of
I
Enders.
think that
awesome.
that game will be talked about. That a second Kojima game will be talked about.
Well,
at TGS.
I've also heard that there's a second Kojima game for 360, a different one as well. That
You know what would be
that-
really-
not MGS4, although that might be coming later.
What would be really cool in an ironic sense would be if MGS4 came with the demo of Zoe 3.
That would be funny.
That would be really cool.
Wow. Shui F1 and several other people, including Aegis, picked up on Marathon on XBLA.
Well, that's been leaked more or
Yeah.
less
Yeah.
at this
But,
point.
Yeah,
but
that's-
the E3 being the place where they finally show it. I can see
I
that.
can see that. But my prediction more is Geometry Wars 2. It'll be their big XBLA game.
You think? They can show
Well,
it?
think about PGR. It's coming out in September.
It's true, yeah.
They got it. They say they have they have something.
See, I'm starting to think that Geometry Wars is becoming its own IP. It's getting different publishers, and maybe the game in PGR4 won't be Geometry Wars. It's something else. We'll see.
I like that idea. I think you're onto something.
Geometry Wars is spun off on its own.
It's done its thing. It's off
monstrosity.
on its own world.
Yeah,
I think you're onto something.
we'll see.
Game Freak 92 has a bunch. He thinks different colors for the Wii,
I hope so.
Yeah, who cares?
maybe.
Apparently, different color controllers are definitely coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kid Icarus 2.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
He
God.
thinks GTA will require hard disk drive,
Yes.
accompanied by restructuring of the hardware, the Xbox hardware, where all SKUs have a hard drive.
That's a big can of worms.
That is.
But
That is.
I
that
think
is
he's right.
Really?
I
Yeah.
think
You
hard
really
dri-
think so?
Yeah.
I think Elite down to $399, core with a drive middle, maybe not even a middle box.
I don't know what they're going to do with their hardware, but they got to do something.
I think they'll stick with the $399, $299, but both with hard drives.
There's only two games that could make Microsoft have to go hard drive. Halo 3, GTA 4, and I have a feeling GTA 4 will not run without a hard drive.
I disagree, and here's why I disagree. Because buying a mechanical hard drive is always going to cost them money. But if flash memory keeps dropping, I'm not going to say that they won't have a larger bulk storage solution.
Something is going to happen with price, and it's not going to be price drops. I think it's going to be getting more for the same money.
They follow the Apple model.
Don't you think reconfiguring the whole hardware spec is a mistake in a way? No?
A mistake in what regard? In that they alienate the first adopters?
Stranding people who already have a core system.
But they're not stranded in the corporate mindset. They're not stranded because they can still go buy a hard drive.
I was talking to a guy who works in retail the other day. He said right now the SKU of 360 that's by far and away selling the most is Elite. Wow. And the one selling the worst is Core.
Yeah, I mean, it's anecdotal, but we've read all over that there's like shortages of Elites.
Well, it's allocated. So like no one can just order what they need. They get what Microsoft gives them. Other thing from him, which I think he's maybe stretching here, San Andreas Stories as a PlayStation 3 downloadable. I don't think
great idea,
but I don't think it'll happen. I don't think there'll be a San Andreas Stories. I think we're done with that universe now.
Yeah,
interesting. You think we're done completely?
I think that's a great idea.
They have closed that chapter of GTA. As soon as four happens, they're done.
It's almost like a reset. Yeah.
Yep. A lot of people talking about, like Gamer at Heart said, new Super Mario Brothers 2 for sure.
I hope. I mean, like what I've been saying, if Nintendo's smart, what they'll do is make a new Super Mario Brothers 2, a new Super Mario Brothers 3, a new Super Mario Brothers 4, and these aren't sequels to new Super Mario Brothers. These are sequels to those like Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3. I think that'd be brilliant.
I think it's a good idea, but I think the more likely thing is going to be a Metroid for DS.
No,
a 2D Metroid.
A 2D Metroid, actually. Somebody, hang on, I had it here. Juno 500, 2D Metroid
I think
for DS.
This is the year.
I mean, two years ago, we heard about a game called Metroid Dread that was being made, a 2D Metroid for DS. We never know what happened to that game.
I think
at this point,
this year.
At this point, New Super Mario Brothers is like on its way to selling 10 million units worldwide. Like, they'd be retarded not to make more.
That's true.
I got 2 words for you. Bionic Commando.
No.
Yes.
For what?
No. For DS.
For DS.
No.
For DS. Why do you say out of hand no? Why do you say out of hand no?
Capcom has been trying to launch a new Bionic Commando for the last 5 years.
Right. So why do you guys say no? Like they have the installed base. If
they were going to do it on anything, it would be DS. Definitely.
Right. Why do you say no so quickly out of hand like that?
I think everything I've heard.
Something?
I think everything I've heard at Capcom that ain't happening. As much as I think I'd like to see it happen, I don't think so.
I actually heard that there is a remake of Bionic Commando coming to PSN and Xbox 360.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah, it's not.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So my wishful thinking is
kind of
wishful thinking.
Yeah, no, but close.
That's a shame.
We'll see.
I'd rather actually see it on XBLA.
I'd rather see.
And
I'd rather see
updated
a new
the graphics. It could be cool.
I'd rather see a new one than one I played before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Juno 500 predicted 2D Metroid. He was another Kid Icarus predictor, but predicting a DS game.
I have a question. Do people think Kid Icarus was that good?
Well, Kid Icarus was
pure nostalgia.
It was pretty good. It was like a 7, and the inclusion of Pit in Smash Brothers is proof that Nintendo realizes they have this character again. But
my prediction, the big thing will be Sonic in Smash Brothers. At E3 will be announced.
You think?
It'll be part of this Mario Sonic thing, and then go, oh, guess what? He's also a playable character in
Sonic versus Solid Snake. Who will win?
Think about it. I mean, there's going to be.
I guarantee there's going to
be 1 or 2 guest characters they're going to reveal at E3 for that game.
Yeah, I think Sonic may be in there too.
Gamer at Heart on the subject of Smash Brothers DS.
You know what? I was almost going to write that down. And as much as I want it to happen,
I don't think so, because in Japan they have that Jump Superstars game, which is basically Smash Brothers, the anime characters. They've already been 2 installments of that, and it's sold pretty well. So I don't think so. Not now. Not now.
I think it's a really great idea, though.
I mean, beyond that, a lot of people were jumping on obvious stuff. There was a lot of talk about what was exactly going to happen with MGS. The Supreme Powerful One thinks that it's not going to be 4, that it's going to be a different MGS. I think you're hoping there.
No.
Why would it not be 4? I don't.
Dead wrong.
Supreme Powerful One, also Virtua Fighter 5 online play. I also predicted multi-platform online play. Like how would
at the very least, partly right.
I would consider that
at the very least versus arcade.
I would consider that an interesting prediction.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
And then he says a Sony and Epic exclusive that's not UT. Yeah, very probably.
Has he been reading EGM?
What else we got here? I'm nearly done. Oh, Juno 500. Just on some timing. had Smash Brothers November and Mario Galaxy not till next year.
Oh no!
No, Mario will be out this year.
They're going to be. This is going to be.
no.
They're going to be. They're going to 3-part attack. Metroid in August, September Mario, November Smash Brothers.
Mario September?
My prediction. Or Smash Brothers and Mario
So they're going to
swap.
start telling people things about it like 5 minutes before
You
that?
forget that a year ago they were pretending like Mario was a launch title,
Oh,
and
that's
also
true, yeah.
and also Metroid, where people are like, "Oh, I'm surprised Metroid and Mario are coming so soon." No, they were supposed to be launch titles, people.
Well, the thing is, they never said Mario was a launch title, but on the deal they were saying we think it might be ready, but we don't want to get people's hopes up.
Yeah, and then like a year later, we're like, "Oh, hope comes out this year."
Nintendo always releases one big game before the Thanksgiving. It'll be either Smash Bros. Mario. They'll swap, but up to who's farther along.
And you don't think Metroid counts as that game?
No,
It's August 20th. No, I mean it's
No.
two. It's
Too far out.
Too far out. They're gonna have 3 big ones. Those are the 3.
But
Guaranteed.
I gotta say, those kids had some pretty good
Some pretty
predictions.
good
They did
ones,
pretty.
They did a good
pretty
job.
well.
And the thread continues to go on, and
We're coming back to it next week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the meantime, Brian went back through the last several years of EGM and what we've looked at in prior
and,
E3s.
and in EGM, we relish doing the post E3 issue. It's one of the
Of
most fun
course.
ones because we do some things. We do our opinionated guide where we play all the games in E3 and like weigh in on how they play when we play them, and we also give report cards for all the consoles where we grade like the hardware, the game lineup, what's coming out, the peripherals, the overall like health of the platform.
So I actually went back. I've been at EGM for about 4.5 years now, and I just went back to all my issues that I had and kind of looked at the performance of the major systems out at that time. And just to give you a quick rundown, PS3 for the last 4 years in 2003, B+.
You mean PS2?
PS2, sorry. PS2, B+. E3 2004, it got an A. In 2005, we got A-. And last year, got a PS3. We forgot PS2 that year. Got a B-. I'm just going to give you the rough Xbox C, B, C-. Didn't grade it last year. We gave it like a C after class or something.
This year, Xbox and GameCube are over. We don't expect to see anything for Xbox or GameCube at E3 this year.
Yeah.
GameCube never did well. I mean, C-, B, C-, terrible last year. And then, like, more recently, last year, so we had Wii at B+, 360 at B+. So I just started thinking, like, what are we going to predict this year's systems to do?
I think that 360 and PS3 are both going to have really good showings at E3. I really do.
I mean, I just wrote this down. I think the lowest 360 could probably go as like a B+, just because of the things they know. I think they could go as high as an A.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
PS3 for me, I think it's pretty solid from all the things I saw in May, from the Heavenly Swords, the Uncharted's, the Ratchets.
They have a very solid fourth quarter line.
Yeah, and Devil May Cry, they got some good things up there. I think it could be as low as a B. I say B+ because I don't think. First of all, there's going to be no Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, if there was a surprise playable of a really big game,
and if
there,
like the stars aligned and they actually said Metal Gear Solid 4 in November 2007, which by the way, it's not going to happen.
No,
So
but like if they,
that would be for me like
if,
an A+.
If
but
they announce Gran Turismo 5, which I'm starting to think they are, that's
TGS. TGS.
I think Gran Turismo 5 is going to be announced at E3.
I agree with you,
I think TGS.
I think
especially
it's going to be announced at E3.
with that leak.
I think that they.
Out.
Well, did you see the leak
if it's announced,
Did you see the leak from Spain where they say that GT5 Prologue comes out in November? I think that's true.
And that pushes systems.
Yeah, I'm like 99% sure that's true. Actually,
Okay, if it's announced, it will be like in trailer form and not like a big hit, and then the big hit will be TGS.
I think we're all going to be playing Gran Turismo 5 Prologue at E3.
And
If we are, dude, I will be. How many hours have you seen me playing Forza 2? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I'll be like gaga for that shit.
So my biggest, and I know this can come off like a Wii hater, but I think Wii has the biggest potential to bomb.
Well, okay,
Not bomb, but like do.
Okay, I'm
finish third.
gonna weigh in here. I think Nintendo is going to surprise because they're gonna have like Animal
yeah.
Crossing, they're gonna have Mario Kart, they're gonna have a lot of good first party stuff. As I predict, Nintendo's the best platform holder in terms of being a developer. However, I do not think that third parties are going to deliver at all.
I agree.
I think they're going to deliver volume.
Volume.
Yeah, we're gonna have Conspiracy with Barry Hatter and Ninja Bread Man, games you wouldn't pay $5 for on your PC,
And lots of movie games still. I mean, like what Rise of the Silver Surfer level.
yeah.
I mean, can you really think of a third-party game
Well,
that
like,
you're really dying
there
for?
are a few good ones, like the Crystal Chronicles Final Fantasy game from Square. It looks good, you know.
Ain't coming out this year. Next,
It might come out this year.
I can't.
Ubi will probably show Red Steel 2. I mean, the first one sold 800,000 units.
No, it sold over 1 million now. So Rayman Rabbids too. Those will have sequels, but like
that does. Raven Rabbits already has.
those will both have sequels. But really,
If it's any, so let me color you that just a little bit. So THQ, who was in the office here today because they were like obviously here with the Stuntman thing, was talking about a franchise that they're bringing back again. But instead of just bringing like a port over to the Wii, they're doing a completely, wholly separate developed Wii title to take advantage of building it for the Wii the right way.
That is a popular franchise, and it might be really fun. But you know, I hear they're making a new one for next gen as well, and like that probably looks better. So.
Well, of course it looks better, but the big point is that we were just talking about them churning stuff to Wii, and I don't know that you're only going to see churn. Look, Wii has the base now. Wii has established itself.
But you know, at this point, have the AAA teams been making games for Wii that are ready to show?
No, they haven't. But I think you're going to start hearing announcements and seeing things at E3 that show that the movement it recognizes, hey, look, there's a lot of installed base there.
I bet the majority of the third-party games at E3 for Wii are not AAA games.
John, what do you think? You've been around. Is there enough power now in the people that people will start that the publishers will start bringing real quality teams to Wii?
Oh, they will, but I don't think it's going to be this year.
It's not even announcement-wise. You won't even hear it announcement-wise.
Oh, there might be, hey, we're doing this, and it's these guys that are doing it, but I don't think we'll see anything. I mean, I think some of the EA stuff's going to be interesting, you know, beyond My Sims, some of that stuff where they're already...
EA Playground, you're lining up for that one?
Maybe not that one, but I think there's some stuff coming from EA since they restructured where they're putting a lot more emphasis on Wii development because... You know, let's face it, they kind of got fucked on back in PS3 to the degree that they did, and they
that follows what we've talked about, how
reallocating resources a little bit. So, but I don't think we're going to see any evidence of it until next year.
But like within the development community, even though Wii is a huge success worldwide, do the teams really want to make like their showcase titles for this game for this console still?
So now we're talking about a philosophical shift.
But that philosophical shift is like underlying the entire like console war right now.
I don't know. I think Nintendo first party wise for Wii will be fantastic
as expected.
But you'll see the grades we gave for GameCube: C-, B, C-.
Okay, so
those are mainly because the third party support sucks.
So seriously, what third party Wii games? I said Crystal Chronicles. I'm excited for that. Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles. It looks good at least.
Yeah, I'm not sold on it yet.
Knights, maybe it won't be shit.
No More Heroes, maybe.
No More Heroes, maybe it won't be shit.
Whoa! What do you mean Knights? Maybe it won't.
Have
be
you
shit.
seen the screens?
So you're just judging the game off the visuals?
I like Knights on Dreamcast. Don't get me wrong. However,
you mean on Saturn?
You mean on Saturn?
That's what I meant. But yeah, I mean, at the same point, like
obviously a big Knights fan.
I'm a huge Knights fan. I own both versions of Christmas Knights. I love Knights.
So why are you so quick to poo-poo it just based off of some frickin' screens?
Because it doesn't look that much better than the Saturn game. That's why, and like it doesn't look like it adds much to the gameplay beyond the Saturn game. I don't know. Like the third party.
So you weren't one of the people who liked Knights enough that you were like, oh, I wish they'd make a sequel.
I am.
I think
but now you're not happy if they do.
People.
But when I saw the sequel I got, I'm like, well, this isn't exactly, you know, I've been wishing for this for 9 years, and this is what I'm getting. You know, that's my response. And like, No More Heroes, like I like Killer 7, but like, do I think this is going to be a great game? I hope it is, but I'm skeptical. Like,
come on, it's got a chick with a missile launcher for a leg.
There aren't very many third-party Wii games that I can be, you know, like really excited about. Seriously.
Okay, then what could you be excited about for the Wii?
Nintendo games.
Once again, it's my Nintendo player. That's all it'll be. So, I mean, I think we kind of talked about, like, you know, some of those things, what we thought and maybe surprise and stuff, but I thought it would be interesting to, how can each system steal the show? Because, like, you always, we always walk out of, like, the press conference and go, like, when Zelda showed, like, the realistic graphics, like, stole the show. We
could steal the show by having some impressive third-party exclusives. That I'd be blown away.
That would be the biggest thing for you?
Yeah.
Like a one or two AAA, like
from really good developers, like
wait
really
a minute,
good third parties.
But what do you think that would be? I don't know that a third party title could steal the show for Wii.
If Konami showed me the Snatcher that they're supposedly making with Suda 51 from Grasshopper, and it looks rad, I'll be like, day one purchase. I love that series. I think it's fantastic.
That's pretty niche, though.
It is pretty niche. Okay, so what do you think?
That's not necessarily going to steal the show.
What do you think could be there for Wii that could steal the show for you?
Well, man.
Not easy, huh?
No, it's not easy, but I don't think it would be third party. I think it would be first party. I think that, like...
But what are they... I mean,
you know what would steal the show?
What could they pull out right now?
I can tell you what would steal the show. Let me answer you.
Animal Crossing and Mario Kart will do.
How about a new franchise from Nintendo?
God damn it! I wanted to fucking answer and he interrupted. That's it. That's it. When was their last? But when was their last?
Wait, Project Hammer and Disaster Day of Crisis aren't good enough for you?
We've heard that Project Hammer's in a lot of trouble, right?
No.
I really hope Project Hammer's there because I kind of liked last year's E3 actually.
We've heard that Project Hammer's in a lot of trouble, but I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the next real mascot. The next Nintendo character.
Wii Fitness could really be like a paradigm-shifting huge deal. It really could, you know.
I like my body. I don't want to do work. I want a game,
Brian,
man.
not everyone is an Adonis like you, all right?
I'm glad.
By franchise, was that what you meant? Was the next character?
Yeah,
like Miyamoto making a new franchise, a character franchise?
Yeah. I mean, I do. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, going back to the old days. I mean, like, you know, like when he did Pikmin, and I want his next.
See, Pikmin's an interesting point because it never really stuck.
No, it didn't.
But it's good.
But it's good.
Who would have stuck?
But it didn't stick because the GameCube wasn't successful.
You know what would be for me? Luigi's Mansion 2 with the Wii remote. Sucking up
the flashlight, and then there's the vacuum cleaner.
I'd play that.
That's what I want.
I would fully play that.
That's what I want.
Hey, as long as it has Waluigi in it, the most ridiculous Nintendo character in recent memory.
That's what I want.
Okay, but Nintendo games have been great for their characters, and they haven't brought us a new one in so long.
The Wii is hard to judge, but in terms of what Microsoft can do, okay, they could have Lost Odyssey be there and be good, unlike it was last year. TGS.
I mean, instead of being empty.
So you don't think Lost Odyssey is going to be there playable in a new form that's good?
I think it'll be their limited form. I think TGS.
Okay, Banjo-Kazooie. What if Banjo-Kazooie 3E is really, really awesome?
No.
Are we talking about Microsoft?
I'm talking stealing the show.
I moved on to Microsoft because Nintendo, it's too hard to gauge.
Another thing for Wii, real quick. Pokemon RPG for Wii.
Not going to happen ever.
That would steal the show.
So what can Microsoft do? I would love to have Alan Wake playable. I'm really excited for that game. Actually.
Oh, you kidding me?
I'm talking stealing the show.
No, Alan Wake could fully steal the show.
No, I'm talking about something we don't know about, or something like a big announcement that, holy shit! Like when we saw Zelda for the first time, we shit.
You want something new,
something that could steal the show. All right, say Kojima Productions is making an exclusive 360 game, in the Metal Gear universe that isn't MGS4.
If they finally tell us what Halo Chronicles is, that could steal the show.
That could steal the show.
That could completely.
Although
anything
they're in
with
danger
Halo
of, Halo 3's nearly finished. Halo Wars is next year. Do they really want to hit us with another one?
Okay, if Sony has Epic making a new exclusive game for them, that looks really good.
That would be definitely on the Unreal Engine 3. That would be huge. That would be absolutely huge.
If Sony has another massive third party making an exclusive third party game that comes out this year for them,
I say tease God of War 3.
They should.
I think that's what talking about. The cog. With Gears 2. I'm saying if I'm Sony, you end your press conference with a fucking kick-ass
because it's
with Kratos.
It is their most powerful franchise right now.
Absolutely.
You want to steal the show and get people freaking out? Just show something on God of War 3, and that's it. Because as much as I want to say the Eco team, I want to see what they're doing. Like that's not mass market. God of War 3, everybody is hot,
and I'm pretty sure you'll see what the Eco teams up to at TGS.
Yeah,
but not at E3.
Not at E3.
I mean, so do we want to say is price drop going to get announced? Or?
I don't think there'll be price drops. I think, like I said earlier, I think it's going to be movement within the current price range.
Yeah, I think
even for Sony,
60 gig for $499.
I think if Sony were to release a price drop, then Microsoft may follow suit, but I don't expect Sony
I think Microsoft's going to do it first.
Really?
Yeah.
Preemptive strike.
And I think they'll get it to market first as well.
Do you think at E3 they'll announce it? No.
I think Elite $399. I think that's what it's not. I think they're going to try and downplay it, but I think that's what they're going to do. 2 SKUs, both hard drives, Elite $399, and a new
and the
core.
Current Pro becomes the core.
Yeah,
but seeing the bundles that Sony is doing in Europe and in Japan right now, there's a Hot Shots bundle in Japan and a MotorStorm bundle in Europe. I have to wonder if there's a bundle coming here this fall.
Yeah. What would you think they bundled with it?
There's a lot of options.
MotorStorm is like showing off the hardware, probably the best, but it's maybe not the best game.
There's Uncharted, there's Ratchet, there's Warhawk. There's lots of options. I don't know.
You could see one thing at E3. One thing. What's your one game you have to see or you want to hear about, even if it's not definitely confirmed that's going to be there?
As in not announced or game that has been announced that we really want to see?
What's the one game we're most looking forward to seeing at E3?
Yeah.
That's your question?
Yeah, if you only had one day, you only had 1 hour to see one thing.
That's tough.
I really want, and I don't think they're going to show enough of it. I want to see Fallout 3.
No,
Really?
I don't think there's much to show yet. I think everything you saw in that cover story is
It's all they've got.
All they've got.
Yeah. Shane?
Come back to me. I got to think some more.
I mean, I'm struggling between a couple of games. One of them, so I'm going to give two. I hate to give two. Sorry, that's what you get. Alan Wake, because I have been like thinking about that because the E3 presentations of that game have amazed me.
Oh, you should have seen the XO6 presentation. Awesome.
I love Remedy. Every time I talk to the developers there, like those guys are so like they have that creative spirit, just like that just reaches out and grabs you when you talk to them.
We were talking about Freaky before. That game is
freaky. It is awesome, freaky, and the visuals look fantastic. And as long as they can pull together, I mean, you know from listening to me before that I love interactive storytelling, and that game is interactive storytelling, taking like the next step. And the other thing you know if you listen to me is that I love Final Fantasy, and I would probably wait a day and a half in line to see 13.
You won't be seeing it.
You won't be seeing it.
I know. The question was, what would you, right? And so that would be the other one.
One Shane.
Metal Gear Solid 4 trailer.
Yeah, that would be.
I was not surprised from
that.
him.
Would be. That is. I will consider E3 an utter disappointment if it's not there, and I want his normal 7-minute trailer.
I think it's gonna be a good trailer.
I expect that is. I will walk out of E3 a sad.
What's your
individual.
favorite trailer of all the E3 trailers he's given? I know mine in a heartbeat.
I mean, I still remember the impact of the MGS2 trailer.
Yeah.
I was there, and it was
so was I.
First time
it was
I saw
huge.
that first one and the music and
Although last year TGS, I mean that MGS4 trailer, it floored me.
We walked out of there saying it was the best thing I've ever seen.
No, dude, I remember last year you weren't at TGS, and I heard the podcast of Brian talking shit about the trailer, how shitty the animation was.
At E3, I loved the trailer. TGS, I thought it was disappointing.
Yeah, because you're
The crazy
robotic
60s
animation.
style.
misinformed.
Robotic animations.
The crazy
It's
60s
next gen.
style 3 trailer was the best,
That was
dude.
good
That
stuff,
shit was
too.
awesome.
Yeah.
That was off the hook.
I think for drama, I think that MGS2 one topped only by Sam Kennedy standing up alone and clapping in a theater full of people.
Nice.
That's pretty fantastic.
There's a lot of stuff that I want to go and see. I mean, like picking one, I don't think there's anything that really stands out because there's a lot that we've seen.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to seeing how far they've come with Mass Effect because I'm still really looking forward to that game.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm worried that it might get brushed under the carpet a little bit.
Don't worry,
at
you'll be
E3.
playing it next year. Next year.
But I think Mass Effect might be ending the biggest disappointment if it isn't there in a big form.
There are gonna be lots of disappointments.
I
always.
want to see this partial nudity and sexual themes because that's not been very evident previously.
That's your first question right there.
And you're like,
Dude, why didn't you mention this earlier?
Show me the boobs.
disappointment's always a big question. What do you think's going to be disappointing us, Brian? I mean, come on. I know you have all kinds of stuff on that.
Well, the obvious big disappointment is that there will be no Final Fantasy 13 whatsoever.
Right.
I think that's a huge disappointment.
I'm not the only one who would stand in line for that.
You know what game I like the concept, and from when I see it, I'm not excited anymore? Splinter Cell.
What? When every 10 months doesn't excite you?
Hey, I thought of something that you would get excited about. New Kingdom Hearts.
Check back at check back at TGS for that.
I mean, the only reason why I didn't say it because I know for a fact it ain't happening at all. Not yet. Like we said, TGS. But I would pretty much shit my pants. if I
Yeah,
could see
he's
it.
got a total hard-on for Mickey Mouse.
I do. I don't care.
It's a known thing around here.
It's weird. I actually have thought about going. I think I've finished the game 3 times already. I actually thought about before E3 starting it again.
There's been a big thread on the message boards about Killzone, and
Well,
I think that could be a huge.
so yeah, I mean, a lot of people think that's going to be disappointing, and they are like positioning it against Halo. Like after Microsoft has their press conference, they announced a special showing of Killzone
to a very small audience,
a very select audience.
Because here's their big title that people know all about, and so they picked the smallest place on Santa Monica to do it.
I will say, I heard some new stuff about Killzone this week, and
From Sony.
Can't really talk about it, but
From Sony.
Can't really talk about it, but
from Phil over drinks.
I can say that the single player game
It's going to be fantastic.
is very, very different.
Yeah?
Very different.
Okay.
The multiplayer is not as different, but the single player's game is very different.
I'm fine with withholding judgment. I want it to be good because I like shooters, and that's no big surprise. I'm just surprised that and John and I had a conversation about this earlier today, and he was surprised that they were doing it to such a small audience because I said, well, they're doing that to control the message, and you said that
I think the message is going to be more out of control by showing it to a smaller audience. Because that means there's fewer people that really know what they're talking about, which means that the hype...
you get more bullshittery.
My thing is that all we've heard from Sony is wait till you see it, and now they want to show it to
So it should
12
be
people.
every fucking
exactly.
where.
Why do I not?
Exactly.
You told me at GDC. While I was sitting there. Wait till you see it.
We're all gonna
and now I'm not.
we're all gonna see it, but I think those guys are gonna get to play it.
But isn't it funny how all this whole E3 has become like, okay, Microsoft showing, then we're going to show Killzone, and then like you have every other publisher or hardware maker like reacting to like these events and trying to trump the other one. It's like, I mean, it's worse. I'm getting emails left and right going, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? It's really funny how all these companies are trying to like
it's funny
outdo each other, and then like getting pissed off that this person's doing that, and okay, we're going to come back with this, and I'm like,
well, it's a war, dude.
It's become a total circus.
But it's pretty funny. Like they're all buying into each other's bullshit.
Yeah,
they really are. Well, I won't be giving you any bullshit when we come back on the other side with the news, and I've got plenty to cover. If you're disappointed about something we didn't talk about, throw it in the thread, because we're coming back next week again to talk about more E3 prep. We'll have Brian back on the show. You cool with that, right?
Yeah, I'd love to come back if I don't get killed on the
You won't get killed, man. So we'll come back.
We haven't touched handhelds.
We haven't touched handhelds at all, and I'm sure there are going to be a few more questions about next gen stuff.
Hardware questions.
And I think we should predict how each one, like give them a score.
All right, so next week we'll also give our personal predictions on scores. What we'll have coming up in just a moment is news, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to play? The 2007 Midnight Gaming Championship Tournament may be coming to a city near you. The baddest gaming tournament in the US is touring the country. Visit midnightgamingchampionship.com for details and to watch the tournaments live. Game on.
All right, we're back and ready to hit the news, and I've got it. We're not bringing Patrick down today. I'm just going to have to roll through the news on my own. I've got it all lined out here. We're going to start off with all the game-related announcements. First off, I have the complete and final Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s Encore track list.
Why you got to hate on it?
Why do I have to hate on it?
Why?
Because, and I'm stealing this straight from Patrick, because he looked at it and said the same thing. I could take a bucket of 80s rock, throw it against the wall, and wind up with a better set list.
See, Patrick, he was too young to appreciate 80s rock. And you're more of a 60s rock kind of guy.
Negative. You are completely wrong. We all appreciate it. It's like, look, come on. The idea of standing in front of the television with a plastic guitar, playing air guitar, is perfect for...
Two flock of seagulls.
Right, and the Dead Kennedys. And look, I'm not saying anything bad about the Dead Kennedys. I even listened to the DKs when I was like a kid. I get it, okay? But the one random punk song and then a random surfer song and a random new wave song does not make anybody happy. All they do by trying to please everybody is wind up turning off everybody. Or not making anybody really happy.
Give us some of the highlights.
So the highlights are like, so there's a Scorpions tune on there. Which
one?
Is
it Rock Me Like a Hurricane?
No, it's There's No One Like You. But which is great. It's a blast to play. It's one of the most fun songs to play in the game. Except the guy who's trying to sound like whoever.
Matthias thingy.
Right.
Does he go duh instead of do?
Misses it completely. It's not good. It's not good. Other good ones. One of the ones that's really fun to play is Turning Japanese by the Vapors.
Good song.
Yeah, and it's actually really fun to play. Yeah. But it's fun to play because of the whole, it's actually fun. It's all picked out. That's all picked out guitar parts, which is fun to play, right?
Also about masturbation.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, thanks for the information. So there's 17 by Winger. That's kind of fun. And, of course, you noted, I think it was already on the list, Play With Me by Extreme, which was the Bill and Ted Mall Chase sing.
With the Flight the Bumblebee riff.
Right, so that's cool. It's just, there's too much other stuff in there that you're like...
Don't you think it'd be a little hard, though? A little bit. Come on.
How much is it?
It's full price. So, by the way, it's an encore... but it's full price.
But it has a full load of songs.
It has a full load. The idea is that you're coming back to the game again, right? And that you're playing, that you already have the guitar, and you're just picking this up to get the songs.
There's no version of it with the guitar, right? It is a...
I have not seen one, no. I looked at their website. Yeah, so apparently it's available only with the disc, so you would have to go buy a third-party guitar. We can buy the guitar separately.
Essentially a bunch of what would otherwise be DLC on a disc.
And there's no word again on DLC, and God knows where the hell the DLC packs are.
However, it's priced more cheaply than if you were to buy these songs on DLC.
That's true.
Slightly. It's $50 for 30 songs. So
as well as Guitar Hero 2 is selling on 360, they're not announcing this for 360 yet?
Nope.
As I understand it, this was a deal with Sony.
This is it's dubbed as exclusive.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I gave it 3 months.
You give it 3 months. What do you mean you give it 3 months?
It'll be 3 months and it'll be on 360.
You mean as DLC or as what?
Maybe. Something.
Maybe.
I mean, come on. There'll be some loophole to get a version out there.
Where's the DLC that we should have had already for this game? I mean, for Guitar Hero 2.
Who knows?
Right, who knows? Anyway, all right. What else we got? We have Wipeout HD coming to a PS3 near you. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. So is Ryan O'Donnell, Game Videos. This is his favorite game
I'm excited
ever.
about this, and I'm excited about the new PSP game.
Okay, so
Did you
over
see the
in,
video? It looks awesome.
Yeah.
okay, so here's the deal. So over in Europe, they were been showcasing Wipeout Pulse, which is the PSP sequel that's coming.
This September.
That's right, and they got the Liverpool studio director to talk about the also development of Wipeout HD, which apparently is only just the first piece of the puzzle as far
It's
as
another one of these weird Sony 1.5 kind of things where it's like...
It's kind of a stopgap. It's like, we'll put this out as a downloadable title. We're making a real one, but this will, keep
It's
keep
kind
you
of the
busy.
approach to Gran Turismo again.
Yeah. It's a new approach, and I kind of like it.
Yeah.
so
Better
there
than
you go.
nothing.
Get more earlier.
There is a considerable amount of stuff coming to Xbox Live Arcade. We have how do you say this word?
Carcassonne, which is actually a pretty awesome board game.
German board game, right?
Yeah, I got to say.
I saw us doing capture on this over at Game Videos today, and it looks pretty decent.
I have played the actual board game version of Carcassonne.
Not supposed to admit that.
Wow.
Shu's a big nerd game fan, and he has it, and it's good. I think it'll be fun on Xbox Live.
EGM has like board game night, right?
We do.
No, I don't participate in board game night.
I was actually kicked out of Nerd Club, but it does go on. Yeah.
You got kicked out of Nerd
Because
Club?
I made fun of it, and they kicked me out.
You got kicked out of Nerd Club?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a badge of honor.
I know.
Anyway, so there's also quite a bit of updates. There's a Mad Tracks update that's coming with additional packs for that. There is, that's the Mad Tracks Encore expansion pack, 350 Microsoft points. There's also the big update to Luminous Live, finally.
New skin packs, finally.
New skin packs.
And they go towards charity, which is a good thing.
Does anybody care about that game anymore?
I think they milked it to death.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of a shame? Because I really thought that like the online Xbox Live Arcade version would be the version that really clicked with people.
I still can't play it on a TV. I have to play it on a handheld.
Really?
Yep.
I really like it in 5.
I agree.
I like it in 5.1. I will probably pick this up because it has the Genki Rocket stuff. So I mean,
I'd still
Nerd.
play it on a handheld over anything else.
Agreed.
I thought this one was pretty funny. There's also a new set of boards for the solitaire game.
Oh boy, really?
Shu loves him some
Is there going to be a brushed metal one, or like a shiny plastic like the Apple stuff?
Dude, you're asking me too many questions now about It's solitaire. That was kind of thrown in there as like a joke aside. Shu loves that?
He loves it.
No, I was really serious, Count it.
All right, that's what you call it. That right there is dead air, folks. And then moving right along, the Super Swing Golf Series from Tecmo on Wii is getting a sequel. Apparently is going to include some cameos by like Ryu and Rachel. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Because, I can't play golf unless I'm playing as Ryu or other characters.
Yeah.
In other great importing and Japanese-style game news, we also found out that Ace 3 will be coming to the PS2.
Do you know what A stands for?
Well, if I didn't read it, no, I wouldn't know.
I do.
Would you like to?
It's Another Century's episode. Do you know what that is?
And what's great about Another Century's episode?
It combines
Shane?
mecha from lots of really well-loved anime series. It's a well-loved franchise, actually, in Japan. It does huge business. The fans are very excited for this.
You know what I like about Ace? It means that when I go into the toy stores, it means that all those figures are still there that I can choose from, which is awesome. No chance.
It's coming to PS2. People are a little surprised. They thought it might come to a next-gen console. So.
Yeah, because the install base is there, and there's no chance of it coming to America. So this is an importer
No,
thing.
it can't come here because the licensing is just too insane.
This is very boring. Please talk about something else.
Yeah.
Supreme Commander's getting a real live add-on, but it's not going to be just an add-on. It's actually going to be a standalone. So this is like the new theory in how to do.
Wait, it's an add-on, but not.
Well, right, because this is the THQ approach. Remember, the same thing is like they're doing with Company Heroes. When you do an expansion pack, instead of it being an expansion pack, you keep the original developer, so you actually have quality product, and you make it as a standalone so that people who didn't buy the original will be able to play the game. And you take the original game as like, building the name in the franchise, and instead of making a sequel, you do a very quick expansion pack and get people to buy the game.
You can sell the expansion pack for $50,
Right, so they get to charge more for it.
$20.
Hey, there's 100 new units. You might be happy about that. We also found out this week that LucasArts is apparently already playing a lightsaber Wii game around the office.
We asked them about this for like a year, and they're coy about it. And all of a sudden, it's like, of course we're working on a lightsaber game.
It was the first thing I thought of when I heard about the Wii remote. I'm like, lightsaber
I can remember
Star
being
Wars
in a
game.
meeting with LucasArts and with Shu, and him saying the second you have a lightsaber Wii game will do something on it. And they were like, oh, yeah, when it's coming. We'll
but
come
then
talk to you
they're like,
about
oh,
it.
Wii's really popular. Let's hurry up and make this. I bet it's really good.
Well, apparently in an interview with Gamasutra, President Jim Ward said that we're all over that. Internally, we have already played a lightsaber game on the Wii. It's just a lot of fun, and we'll get there.
Good. I'm really pleased for you, Jim.
Well, here's the important part. He says, there'll be some stuff out this fall. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, could you think about the merchandising you could do with the Wii Remote, like the lightsaber handles, like all the different ones you could sell?
And finally, a use for the internal speaker that doesn't annoy you.
Yeah.
Merchandising, where the real money from the movie's made.
I mean, just...
All right, at the end of the game announcement part, I just want to remind everybody that that's it for the Wii browser being free. This weekend, if you don't go get it...
Oh, good. I never used it. Thank God.
Well, even if you've never used it, you should at least go download the damn thing. Right?
Whatever.
So you could fill up another button on your Wii screen.
Look, you might as well get the channel before it costs you $5. Jesus.
In terms of other game announcements...
Community service message.
In terms of other game announcements, we touched on it earlier when Conspiracy Interactive announced 9 Wii games coming out this fall, including... Billy Wizard, which used to be called Barry Hatter when it was a...
Oh, that's Barry Hatter.
When it was a horrible, unbelievably awful, life-endingly bad Harry Potter clone from England. And good news, guys, it's coming to Wii this fall for $50.
Oh, dear.
Wait,
Barry
also,
Along
Hatter.
with Ninja Bread Man.
Ninja Bread Man. I'm very excited.
That is an awesome...
I got to admire the name. Ninja Bread? That's pretty
You
good.
also got to admire the Nintendo seal of quality.
Yeah, what does that mean anymore? Oh, right, fuck all.
It means a licensing fee was paid to Nintendo.
Quality control, not so much.
You know, I'm not sure where the quality control or who's dropping the hammer on Xbox Live Arcade, but we've been actually chasing this whole what's up with the anniversary version of Tomb Raider requiring Legend being...
Well, it's the memory. It's the size limit.
It's apparently maybe not the size.
Really?
Look, I've heard more rumors about this than the Man in the Moon. I can tell you this. Everyone thinks that, because it's coming as something you have to have Legend for, that means they're using the Legend code and they're just piggybacking on top of that. That apparently is not the case necessarily. I mean, as Patrick noted in the news story that we just ran this week, when they did Legend and they did it right, they developed it from almost the beginning to work on those art assets. They've just announced this, and they, by their own admission, have not been working on it all this time. It's not necessarily using the Legend engine. I can tell you that with almost certainty that it's going to be more of a PC port.
If it's not using Legend engine, why does it require Legend?
That part has been even more speculated. The original speculation was that it would have something to do with Microsoft and the way they had Xbox Live Arcade. The latest rumor I've heard is that it might even have something to do with retailers exerting pressure on them that they don't want games distributed digitally only because it cuts them out of the mix entirely.
Retail, and I think one of the questions we need to ask the live team when we're down at E3, with the inevitable live meeting, the generic talk about the service meeting, is it's not as open a platform, I think, as they were letting on.
I don't think it is either.
Because there are things have to live in their particular little bucket, and if it can't live in the arcade bucket is where the executable game files live, and that does, to your point, Shane, it has a cap on it. So Legend can't live there because it's way bigger than even the new cap is, and it can't live in Marketplace because Marketplace doesn't have executable games in it; it just has content in it, and it can't live in other place. So the only place for it to live is where Shivering Isle lives. And Shivering Isle can't execute on its own. It needs a disk in the drive to execute it. So I think that it's just live is a little balked in terms of the way things work.
Right.
But keep in mind, the retail was very adamant about having Shivering Isles, at least for PC, coming to a retail box copy.
If there was a PS3 version, it would be fine. You could just download it through PSN and it would work.
With WiiWare, the announcement this week, it could be good there too.
The implication, though, of retail, exerting pressure here is huge. And the person I'd really like to talk to about this is Gabe Newell, because he's gone through this as the front person for Steam, and he's been down this road, and he's always said that retail is a bunch of bastards that are playing this poker game and screwing them all the time.
You can't get those guys on the phone to save your life. Retail is they're the hardest people to get on the phone.
Well, surprise.
Yeah, they're impossible to get
big,
comment.
Shocking stunner there.
Even for positive stories, you can't even get them on the phone.
Anyway, we will continue to chase that. Interesting anniversary, really stirring the pot there. God of War PSP apparently is going to actually use last week we talked about the firmware allowing developers to access the 333 megahertz of the PlayStation Portable. Apparently God of War is going to access. Now what I'm hearing also through back channels is that
a legit announcement?
Yes, this is actually on the PlayStation blog. Corey Balrog went on the PlayStation blog and posted a message yesterday that or this would be on Wednesday, confirming that Chains of Olympus will absolutely make full use of the PlayStation Portable's 330
right, but the
megahertz.
other part of it, we're hearing the limitation on that mode. That hasn't been publicly announced.
Yeah, we heard from
a couple of developers
that only single-player experiences can use the overclocking.
You can't turn on the
WLAN.
the WLAN in 330.
Apparently, it's a glitch. It's a glitch. It's like they're not able to synchronize the timekeeping.
But that wouldn't affect God of War. I mean, it's not like God of War is online co-op or something.
It's still significant though, because so many PSP games, even if they don't use infrastructure, do use ad hoc. And if you can't use ad hoc at all, it means no multiplayer.
Well, but these 333
Or
mode,
we're going to start seeing discrepancies between single and multiplayer modes on PSP if people do start pushing.
Isn't the bigger deal the battery life? This is just going to absolutely suck.
It will use more
battery.
battery.
You're going to be playing God of War, and half an hour later, your battery's dead.
John, I know that you were all over this story. This is like another customer service issue. We ran the story this week, finally, of the tale of 11 broken Xboxes.
Oh.
And this has been a source of all sorts of speculation.
Well, I mean, it's not new news that people are having red rings of death on their Xbox 360, and then Microsoft says there's no problem with it.
And let's be fair, that's still... This is like the definition of anecdotal evidence. I mean, this is Justin Lowe talking about the difficulties he's had with his experience, his ownership experience.
And we could talk about our anecdotal evidence where like about 75% of the Xbox 360s in our office have died.
Oh, easily.
Easily.
I actually would even argue
Higher,
that
possibly.
almost all of them, original ones we got, have died.
Yeah.
Every single 360 I've played on has red ringed.
Yeah. I mean, and like, Microsoft...
I'm not even going to say it because I don't want mine. I don't want to jinx mine.
And the only one that has my retail
as many times as Peter Moore or Shane Kimmer, whatever executive can say, there is no problem. I mean, the anecdotal evidence does pile up.
It does.
And in Europe, it sounds like it's coming to a head in this last week. There's a lot of stories coming out of Europe.
Well, there's been obviously the consumer advocacy groups in Europe have been active in pursuing this from that angle.
I can't believe there hasn't been a class action suit yet.
Well, so here's the question: is how big has it actually been? There was a note today that I saw that Tiger Direct is apparently selling refurbished Elites. They said they had a stock of only 10,000, and so the speculation ran back and forth. Well, they only have 10,000 because there's only been 10,000. Other people said, "My God, they have 10,000 of them."
Refurbished Elites that have already broken.
Right. Well,
I mean, there is a point at which if the general mass consumers hear, "Hey, Xbox 360s break all the time," what does that do for the platform?
It's definitely a negative. It's definitely a negative. So what Justin says twofold. First of all, he says right off the bat that he said, I would have rated, especially at first, their customer service as an 8. But however, as time has gone on, it's become more and more difficult for him. He, by the way, does have a new Xbox 360.
He has 12th that he's
in his possession now.
I can't believe that he's still... I mean, he has a very sunny disposition about the whole thing.
He does,
admire that. He's on his 12th Xbox, and he's not hating on it.
Wow.
Well, and I think the upside of this as a gaming community, and whether it would be Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo, is that people who are being sunny about it means that they are paying more attention to the software than the hardware. Because the fact is that right now we know that Xbox has had the games, and there's games he wants to play on the system, so he's been playing those games. The interesting part to me also was Microsoft's new approach to deferring this. Originally, their approach was, well, we don't comment about it. Now their approach is responding with a different... They've obviously learned from the government. They're now saying that, well... We've heard from enough customers to know that there was a trend in customer service dissatisfaction that we needed to correct.
We touched on a few weeks ago.
Wait. So they're saying that the problem with the consoles is not a problem with the consoles.
It was the customer services?
It was a customer service issue.
We're going to stop sending it to India for a while, and we're going to have some guy that actually knows what
right, so you see, John, the problem was that what was happening was the few people, and I'm using those quotes again, the few people who were so upset because of bad customer service that they went on the internet and bitched.
So has anything come out of the fact that a few weeks ago we talked about on this podcast how refurbished 360s were coming back with an extra heatsink? Has anything come of that?
Oh, no.
But there's been some real obfuscation there, denial and...
Well, we've tried twice to get them to comment on that.
Well, there's a real story going on here, and I've been talking, and I think some investigative journalism may be required.
Well, I mean, the only thing left to do, and it's actually been done, and we pointed to, I believe it's llama.com that has taken them apart, and we showed the pictures. They've definitely made changes. They've made alterations. We know that they've added epoxy because they had problems with the chips popping. We know that they've added heat sinks, and they're simply not willing to talk about it. I think that it's getting to the point where it would behoove them to say, you know what, here's the adjustments that we've made, and just own up, draw a line, and just say, okay, you know what, here's the deal, boom.
Here's what we've done to fix it.
Right, and even if it takes adding heat sinks to everybody who has a 360, what's that going to do? Goodwill, hello? get with it. You can handle that, Microsoft. You get all that money. Changing gears completely. Let's talk about the PopCap story. You brought this up. And so we have the PopCap story, and I want to point out also that Ray Barnhold made an excellent blog post that I have here in a reference, because the story is, and I'll let you comment on it, the story is that the chief creative officer of PopCap, which is a big casual games company, whose name is Jason Kapalaka. Anyway, the industry, he made an interview over at Game Industry Biz, and he talked about several things about the economy of it. He talked about EA and Pogo.com, and he went on to talk about how there's a fine line between that and very bold-faced rip-offs that aren't adding anything to the game and are just trying to make a quick buck. And then he goes on to say that when games do this, it encourages a lot of independent developers to just churn out cheap clones instead of original projects, and that in turn hurts the business.
Welcome to the games industry.
Well, but specifically,
and then that in turn develops this whole culture of hand-to-mouth developers trying to make their fortune off of cloning other people's games.
PopCap didn't clone anything.
Okay, specifically, he also went on to say that in the future, PopCap is going to not do clones, and going to do original games, and that is really good news to me, because I've actually brought this up like a year ago on the podcast. About 2 years ago at GDC, I believe, the awards ceremony they hold there every year, PopCap won a Lifetime Achievement Award, and they talked about how creative they were and how ingenious they were, and they showed me all their games, okay? And I understand they made a lot of money. They've been very successful with their cell phone games and their downloadable games, but I would venture to say 90% of what I saw on that screen were complete, obvious, like no questions asked rip-offs of existing, largely Japanese-developed arcade games.
Well, I can give you the actual specifics, because Ray Barnhold, who's into that kind of stuff, actually cited them in his blog, and he said, by the way, you have done that, speaking to PopCap. Zuma and Astropop, two of their biggest games, very fun games, but blatant concept swipes of lesser-known, one-of-a-kind Japanese games, Puzzle Loop and Magical Drop.
I mean, it goes beyond that. They were showing all these loops, and I was like, wow, I could like tell you like 15, 20 games what those games were that they blatantly stole. I mean, stole. And they're winning an award for this, and they're being praised for ingenuity. I was incensed. In the audience, I was about to like hit somebody. I was like, I can't believe this is happening, and I can't believe these people are proud to be accepting this award based on this.
Editorially, the other thing that I thought was really cool about Ray is Ray then went on to note that, by the way, it's hard to get too mad about this, and it's silly that they would get upset about it, because the whole casual games market has been a gray area where this kind of exchange has been going on.
Also, I'd like to point out, we all bitch about 800 points, 1,200 points for an Xbox Live Arcade game. Bejeweled is $20.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Right. So is Zuma, so is Bookworm, so is all the other PopCap stuff.
In terms of like protecting intellectual property, it has not been happening with PopCap. And like they've been like riding the wave of money all the way, stealing other people's ideas.
That guy got to learn to shut up.
But like now, finally, they're like owning up. They're saying, we're moving forward, we're going to change it. I, for one, respect them a lot for owning up to that. So I'm happy that they finally admitted it.
We talk a lot of times about how high pressure it is to work in the games business and how hard it is on people. Insomniac has just once again won an award from the Society of Human Resource Management that they are one of the best places in the world, great place to work.
That's awesome. I mean, Ted Price...
Top 10. Top 10 small businesses to work for.
Ted Price is a great...
But it's pretty amazing still to be top 10.
Yeah, and they're the only game company in that list. It was funny when I was down there during like when Resistance was like in crunch mode. It was a hot fudge sundae day. So, everybody was there.
So even though you were there 20 hours a day, you got a hot fudge sundae.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, I've been down there. It seems like a good working environment. Yeah. You know.
So we know that there are a lot of developers out there who listen to this show, and it's interesting to have this kind of comparison, because a lot of them do get put through really, really tough crunch loads.
We're actually going to have Ted Price on EGM Live next week. We're going to do an interview with him.
Oh, cool, because they had asked about that. So that's good. I'm glad to know he's going to come on someplace. And he just said in his quote a bunch of things. We follow. He wrapped it all up by saying it demonstrates again that it's possible in the games industry to achieve excellent results while maintaining a collaborative and stimulating workplace culture. So that's very cool,
inspiring.
And that's kind of a change that we're seeing in general. Chris Taylor very much into that kind of mindset as well.
Yeah, because I've just heard some stories about some games that have been
they're brutal.
The old school, you're there for months upon months till 3:00 in the morning.
Well, I mean, if you remember,
pretty bad.
Like,
and you hear stories all the time of like people being almost punished for going home at the weekend.
Oh yeah,
you guys used to read Fat Babies, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, and the horror stories on that were just
EA Spouse, all that. So,
EA Spouse, right? Anyway, it's sort of in the same vein. So the big meeting over last weekend with the AMA determining whether or not they would recommend that gaming addiction would be a disorder or not.
So much ado about nothing, publicity, smoke and mirrors.
Well, you know what?
They need to go research it some more. So a bunch of doctors are going to go play some games for a year.
Well, the doctors kind of, they were generally...
Shit, can I do that? Shit, man, God.
They agreed.
I have a psychology degree. Does that make me qualified to go do it?
Yeah, you should check into that because they do actually cite a lack of research as the reason that they were at this point going to recommend that it not be classified as a game addiction. One of the doctors went on record as Dr. Stuart Gitlow. He said, there's nothing here to suggest that this is as complex a psychological disease state akin to alcoholism or other substance abuse disorders. So
big surprise,
right?
There's somebody who abuses anything or everything. I mean, that's so. Oh my God.
Yeah, it doesn't even. The fact that we talked about it upsets me.
Yeah, and the fact that like a big news story is written about it, and like people were asking,
people wanted us to go on TV and talk about it.
I was like,
nonsense.
CNBC wanted us to go on and talk about it.
Like,
nonsense.
I was like, people are addicted to anything.
Isn't this a
everything.
result of the fact of how high-profile games have once again become because of the Manhunt 2 controversy and because of the ESRB and because, frankly, it's coming up on election year.
Ugh.
And it's easy political target.
Yeah, it's scaremongering.
Yeah.
How much does that play into our next section of stuff, which is all about public perception of advertising, starting with the ESRB cracking down on trailers. This is the craziest thing.
Yeah, I got flooded by PR people this week telling me, like,
you are not alone.
If you have this trailer, you have to put... I was like, I'm in print.
See, the bullshit about this is that there's a discrepancy between whatever the advertising standard thing is and the actual ESRB rating, because if the darkness has been rated M, that means anything in the darkness is rated M, which means you should be able to show it behind an age gate. How can content from a game that's already been rated be rated something else?
That's an excellent question, John, and maybe the ESRB will give us an answer at some time, although I would predict that what they would say is something along the lines of, well, that would be for a game that people purchase, and advertising is available to all sorts of media.
Right, well, they're saying that they have these standards in the Advertising Review Council, whatever it's called, where
that's it.
They don't want to show excessive amounts of violence or whatever. And well, fine, it's related to the standards for the rating itself, but
a trailer for an R-rated movie, that trailer is not necessarily rated R.
Right, but there are R-rated trailers, which can only be shown with R-rated movies.
Right.
Well, the equivalent we have in gaming is there's an age gate. That if the content of the trailer reflects the content of the game, you have to declare that you're old enough to look at it.
Right.
I don't see the problem. It sounds like an entirely political move.
It does, because they obviously started to pursue it very aggressively, as we talked about games that have been out for a long time, that we suddenly got missives on what we needed to take down or put behind age gates or be concerned about, and even to the extent that D3 was forced to send a request to us to absolutely pull Dark Sector videos.
Oh, yeah, I got that one.
Well, they haven't been rated yet, right? Dark Sector doesn't have an ESRB rating. If the game hasn't been rated yet, fine, I can see it. But The Darkness was coming out that week.
Right.
We knew it was an M-rated game. So there can't be anything in the video content that the ESRB hasn't already passed.
Well, I don't think that there's any surprise that this is coming right on the heels of the Manhunt 2 incident.
Oh, yeah.
So no big surprise there. Also not a big surprise is that this is starting to spill over into like even common advertisements. There's an advertisement for Burnout Dominator in the UK that has now been deemed forbidden to be posted.
The ad was in India.
No.
Okay.
This is an ad for Burnout Dominator. It's this picture like right here of this car smashed into a wall.
I'm confusing it with a Sony ad from India. I'm sorry.
Okay. Basically, it's a car that's smashed into a wall, and it's been banned from being used in the London Underground because the what is the name of this group? The Advertising Standards Authority of the British government has deemed that it would concluded that the ad was irresponsible and could be seen to condone a violent lifestyle, antisocial behavior.
They clamp down on a lot of ads in the UK, way more than they do
Does it have
here.
any text? I forget. Does it have any text on
there's
the
some
ad?
tagline across the top.
It says inner peace through outer violence.
It shows a crashed car.
There's a crashed car and there's a tire on the ground that's on fire.
That's on fire.
It advocates a dangerous lifestyle, would you say?
No, it advocates antisocial behavior or dangerous driving. What it advocates is going home and playing
If they're that
Burnout.
strict, I'm not surprised that got pulled.
This isn't out of the ordinary for the ASA in the UK.
Okay, because it has a more restrictive... Is it familiar to have a more restrictive government culture there?
For this kind of stuff, yeah. I mean, anyone who's listening that lives in the UK knows that the government has been progressively more and more coddling when it comes to anything that might challenge people a little bit.
How concerned does that make you, having lived in both places, then, to see that the Republicans and Democrats have met in the middle and approved a bill in the New York State Assembly that will now be going forward for a full vote?
It's an easy way to appease the conservative side of things by, video game ads, if they're a bit contentious, we'll ban them. Who cares? Makes us look like we're doing our duty.
Well, we've been following this issue in the New York State Assembly, and basically what's going to happen is that the bill is going to go for a full vote. It does include both the ESRB Oversight Committee and the felony charges for sales of video games. Here's the problem, and this is what frustrates me, is the co-chairman of the joint conferences, Senator Joseph Lentoy, and here's his quote: We were all always on the same page in protecting children. That is such a political statement, because who is going to oppose that? Who's going to say, oh, no, I wasn't.
I am against protecting children.
I'm against protecting children.
I am all putting children in danger.
How many situations, though, can we construe that to be applied to?
I am for the protection of children against letting them see images of tires on fire.
Right. So I don't know that it's time.
That shit gets toxic, man.
I think that we're on top of the situation, and that this bill is going to be the next challenge, and it's going to be the next one that follows through the whole course and has to go to the Supreme Court to be struck down. And
I have to say, I'm starting to buy the manhunt conspiracy theory.
Really?
And I'm starting to buy the both sides theory as well.
So which conspiracy?
The conspiracy
spell it out.
that Rockstar, ESRB working together, ESRB gets to show it has teeth, Rockstar gets extra publicity for the game, everyone goes away and cools down and comes back, the ESRB is seen to have done its job, and Rockstar gets a much higher profile M-rated game out there.
I can't argue it. I mean, it does ring. I mean, if you're going to buy into conspiracy
Stranger
theories,
things have happened.
The dog is being wagged.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And we'll never know for sure, ever.
No.
But I think it could happen.
There would be
happen.
only a handful of people that would even know.
Let's just see how long it takes for Rockstar to get an M-rated version out.
I bet it's out before the end of July.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, if we all followed Brain Age 2 ad kind of diction,
How
we'd be...
much money do you have to pay an Academy Award-winning actress to sell your game?
Doesn't Brain Age already have a face on it? This doctor that no one had heard of
Takashima.
previously. Yeah. The guy who, when you Google him, hasn't actually done anything apart from Brain Age.
He hasn't had nearly as much Botox.
Are you telling me you wouldn't rather buy it from Nicole Kidman?
If you're thinking, like, really, if I'm what you're aspiring to in terms of intelligence, Nicole Kidman wouldn't be on my list.
Well, hey, she divorced Tom Cruise, all right? She's not that dumb.
She knew better than the whole Scientology.
This actually spawned in the prediction thread earlier. That I didn't mention this, but a few people predicted that Nicole Kidman at the Nintendo press conference.
I'm pretty surprised. I mean, she must be a fan. How much could they pay her? I'm confused.
I guarantee she's not a fan. I guarantee they paid her a lot of money.
She's a fan of cash.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
she's somebody who gets paid like $10 million to be in a film.
Well, it's just just a little advertisement.
Look at all the advertisement right now they've gotten because of that.
It's true.
They've
For
sold a couple of Wii's.
publicity.
I think they have some money.
She advocates people sitting and watching little stick figures walking into a building and walking out again, and you knowing how many went in and how many came out again.
Right.
She's into that stuff.
It helps with your memory.
But it proves that Nintendo is serious about marketing to non-traditional gamers.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
isn't Nicole Kidman taking it a bit far?
A lot of 40-year-old women buy that game.
All I know is I'm all for more attractive movie starlets and coming to our press events, especially if I have to be there for them.
Well, when you and Nicole hook up, we'll tell everybody about it.
That'd be fantastic.
But I gotta say, this is what Nintendo's doing with all the money they just made? Come on!
What do you want them to do, John?
I don't know. Make another fucking franchise.
Thank you.
I don't know if they can handle that. We might get Yoshi Island 3.
Are they going to sell more millions of copies of Brain Age because Nicole Kidman's there? I don't think so.
No,
Right.
but they get all the Joe Schmoes talking about games that may not talk about games. For
It does sort of hook into the cultural advertising scene of Japan, right? I mean, where you see all sorts of crazy...
Well, in Japan, lots
stars.
of celebrities will go and do,
Right.
and do ads, but Nicole Kidman doing Nintendo ads in UK was not expected.
That's
by
pretty
me.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't bring that over here.
She wanted another $3 million for that.
Hey,
Anyway, we don't charge you anything for listening to the show. We're glad you're here.
We should.
We should. No, dude, we shouldn't. You're wrong. We don't want to charge them anything. Anyway, come to boards.oneup.com. Tell us what you want us to hit in the second segment next week. We're going to have this group back together to talk about E3. Until next week, we are out.